postman usually comes every Wednesday. But I just checked the letterbox, and this week he hasn't.
I'm afraid I don't follow, ma'am.
This letter should have been collected and delivered to the newspaper 5 days ago. It's an advertisement for servants. Since it was never published, would you mind explaining to me what you're doing here?
Oh, I understand. Well, ma'am, that's exactly what I was going to say to you when you opened the door to us. The truth is that we just come by on the off chance. You know, a big house like this is always in need of someone who knows the ropes.
You mean you've served in a house like this one before?
This may come as a surprise to you, ma'am, but we, in fact, used to work here.
Here?
Oh, no, it was a few years ago. If you don't mind my saying so, ma'am, they were the best years of my life. That's why we come by, because this house means a lot to us. Perhaps I'd best show you our references, ma'am.
No. Don't bother, there's no need. So you say you know the house well?
Like the back of my hand. Well, that is always assuming that the walls haven't sprouted legs and moved in the meantime.
The only thing that moves here is the light. But it changes everything. It's rather difficult, to say the least. One might almost say unbearable. The only way of enduring it is by keeping a cool head.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I don't like fantasies. Strange ideas, do you know what I mean?
I think so, ma'am.
My children sometimes have strange ideas. But you mustn't pay any attention to them. Children will be children.
Yes, of course, ma'am.
All right. You can stay.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Welcome back to the show, listeners.
Happy Halloween. It is our Halloween weekend episode, Pete.
Yes, indeed. It's Friday.
Yeah.
What's Halloween on Sunday?
All the good
Monday,
parties are
I don't
this
even
weekend.
Well, yes, they are. And we're very glad that you made some time to listen to our show.
We are discussing a fun, spooky Halloween movie today.
Absolutely. Listeners, my name's Pete.
And I'm Scott, and these are the movies that made us gay.
Absolutely.
Andy Orr, welcome back to the show.
Andy.
Much like a ghost, you can't get rid of me.
Exactly.
Back from the dead.
You are
Big from the dead.
You are. I was trying to quote some mother line. I missed it. Oh well. Andy, you were last on for one of the season premieres where we talked about Scream 2.
Another classic.
So we're back with another Dimension movie.
Another Dimension movie, another Weinstein contribution to the world.
Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Baby, he bird.
For better or for worse. Yep. We are talking about The Others, directed by Alejandro Amenabar. Released Amenabar?
Amenabar?
I even have it hyphenated in my notes, and I still fuck that up. Released August 10th, 2001.
All right.
Another Nicole movie.
I can't believe this movie is that old.
Yeah.
I feel like I just saw it in the theater 22 years ago.
Summer of 2001, baby.
that?
It was a huge movie season.
Okay. You two have been very excited about the summer of 2001. I remember seeing this in the theater.
Pete.
Yes.
Summer of 2001. I was trying to get a hold of the EW summer preview of this year. And do you know who was on the cover? Take a guess. Big movie from summer of 2001.
I sound like a car trying to start, not being able to.
It's Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
Oh, is Marky Mark?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
July 4th weekend.
Was it like Marky Mark, like holding like Helena Bonham ape?
They were all in costume.
It was like a family portrait of the entire
it was
cast.
Helena, and it was Tim Roth, and it was Marky Mark. Wow. Maybe Marky Mark decided to plant a tree. Sorry. Wanted to help people. Yeah, that was a great
stacked movie summer.
I remember that issue.
It began with The Mummy Returns, and it was banger after banger the entire summer. Like, we got a Steven Spielberg movie, we got a Tim Burton movie, we got some big sequels.
Here's the thing: 2001 was a great year up until the end of summer.
Till around around August.
Yeah, because like something's happened
around late August
until we got to the release of Glitter.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think the release of Glitter
kidding.
is what really tanked. The year.
Oh my goodness!
If you talk to Mariah, that's what she thinks.
Maybe that's why I have 2001 blocked out. But that was a really good EW summer preview. I remember being so excited for AI, artificial intelligence.
It would have been nice to have for the episode to read through, because I was looking at the Others write-up.
Yeah.
The Others write-up it was probably one of the sidebar paragraphs of the Nicole Kidman Ghost Story movie that's going to be at the later half of the summer. And that was really all it got, was just a paragraph. To kind of commemorate that, we are supposed to do this for our Mummy Returns episode that we scratched in favor to do our Interview with the Vampire episode. That I have a little quiz for the summer of 2001. Okay, so this is how it's going to work.
Okay,
I'm going to name the tagline. Ooh. And you're going to try to guess the movie.
Okay.
All right.
And then we'll go over the box office.
This is a big year for me.
Yeah,
2001, because this was I was 13.
Oh my goodness.
7th grade, very very formative, and
I think I was 14.
And in my hometown, they had just opened a brand new theater. And so we had nothing to do but like go to that theater all the time.
Sure.
So we saw all of the movies. You know, it was like, I
You
remember
grew up in Monrovia, right?
Yeah. It was when they opened
The Krikorian?
Was the Krikorian?
Yeah,
What's the
Krikorian.
Krikorian?
Oh, I was going to ask you, was it stadium seating? Was it just like old theater
No, it was stadium seating. We had the Man 6, which is right by the Monrovia. It's where the Bed Bath & Beyond was.
I love how the Krikorian is laid out, like that long hallway when you're walking up.
Oh yeah, and it was constantly packed when I was a kiddo.
It's a nice theater.
It is, but there would be times when we would go because we had seen every fucking movie. We would go and be like, "Oh, well, we've seen everything, so I guess we can't." And they would have 12 movies in 12 theaters.
And you saw them all.
Yeah, it wasn't like Avatar is taking up like half the screen.
Summer of 2001, like you could have walked into a movie theater and it would have just been like a banger.
Yeah, my allowance was constantly just depleted because it was banger after banger after banger.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I've seen my fair share of movies at that movie theater.
I have too. Yep.
I was 23 in 2001.
All right. Well, I'm going to say the tagline and see if you can guess the movie.
All right. Here we go.
So, the greatest fairy tale never told.
Finding Neverland.
Finding Neverland was 2004.
No!
This was also the highest grossing movie of the summer. I was going to say of 2001, but I think
what it is.
I think Fellowship beat it.
Is it Shrek?
It is Shrek.
It's Shrek.
The biggest movie of the summer, $267 million domestic.
I mean, God bless Shrek.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's really, game changer when it came to animation. That for years after, everyone was trying to copy Shrek.
Sure.
This was also that time where being like a 13-year-old boy, like we were all very annoying and just repeating catchphrases from movies a lot. So we were just always talking like Mike Myers. There's one line in particular from the trailer for this movie, The Others, that, it's the line.
Oh, I know.
And it was, and we would just say it to each other all the time out of nowhere. Just like, hey, how are you doing? And then and we thought we were so clever.
Absolutely.
We thought we had the best taste
in
pop
There
culture.
were no memes. We just shouted lines back and forth to each other.
Yeah, now we don't say words. We just send each other messages and LOL.
Over 3 different apps. All right, Scott, what's our next one?
The mouth of the West and the hands of the East are back.
The mouth of the West and the hands of the East.
This movie opened, I think, the same week as The Others.
Rush Hour 2.
Rush Hour 2.
Rush Hour
$226 million. Okay. No More Mercy, No More Shame, No More Sequels, Honest. This is another sequel.
No More Mercy?
No More Mercy, No More Shame, No More Sequels,
Shame.
Honest. We lied.
2001.
I forgot the we lied part.
They said we lied at the end. No More Mercy, No More Shame.
So I remember reading this.
Scary movie.
It is Scary Movie too.
Wow.
So I remember reading in the summer
Good
movie
job.
previews that there was going to be a Brando cameo, and they cut it.
What?
They cut it. I believe that he
Well,
filmed.
they recast it.
He filmed. I think they filmed it. They filmed it with Andy Richter and Natasha, and I think it was so crazy that they didn't end up using it.
Imagine him participating in something that was
Yep.
too crazy. That
I
they
want to.
just-
I want to say I remember Andy on Conan like talking about it, and I think that Natasha's talked about it too.
All right.
Yeah, I wonder if it involved butter.
Deep fried butter. Okay, next.
David is 11 years old. He weighs 60 pounds. He is 4 foot 6 inches tall. He has brown hair. His love is real, but he is not.
AI.
AI.
Artificial intelligence.
Kind of a big bust that I think everybody was thinking.
That is too long of a catchphrase, first of all. Tagline.
I think that everybody was going in with really high expectations, and the reviews and the audience response was very mixed about it.
I'll say that Jude Law looking like a pretty little doll.
The Robo Gigolo.
Yeah, that was helpful for me.
Sex doll Jude Law.
Because I remember
Not mad at it.
I remember looking on AOL, early World Wide Web, trying to find out like how I could get one of those.
I
Made $71 million.
That's it?
That's it. And I think the production
Wow.
budget was pretty high for that movie.
I don't doubt it.
All right.
Golly.
The next one. This summer, Go Blonde.
Legally
Legally
Blonde.
Blonde?
Legally Blonde.
Yeah.
$96 million.
Wow.
Movie that we have covered this year.
Murderers Row this year.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's
Hey.
sorry, guys.
Sometimes the world of the living gets mixed up with the world of the dead. Sooner or later, they will find out. I think that's two taglines.
Sooner or later, they will find out.
Sometimes the world of the living gets mixed up with the world of the
living
dead.
Gets mixed up with the world of the dead.
And it's not this movie?
And it's from 2001.
It's the others.
It is the
I was
others.
gonna say, I
I
think
wanted
this
to
is-
throw in the others.
No!
I mean, gross $96 million.
Wow.
Very good. It made
What was the budget?
a pretty big profit. I think it was probably around $18 million.
Holy cow.
I mean, there aren't a ton of like special effects. It's all pretty.
So this movie, they did a quiet release in probably about maybe 1,000 cinemas in August, and as the weeks went on, they kept like
Got a lot of really good word of mouth.
they kept like upping the theaters. So it gradually made more and more money as it went on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Considering that
A
it's
sleeper hit?
I mean, we've got to talk about the fact that an executive producer on this movie is none other than Mr. X Tom Cruise.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
I want to. We'll table that conversation for later.
Okay.
I want to
Get back
talk
to
more
it,
about
but-
that later.
All right.
But I mean, in a post Eyes Wide Shut
Yeah, sure.
last Clash of the Titans,
Her
Kidman
first public appearance without Tom Cruise after the divorce
Wow.
was on the red carpet for the others with her date Naomi Watts.
Work. Unidentified fan, according to IMDb.
We found like a Getty image photo. It was Nicole Kidman at the
And
premiere of
Friend.
The Others and Friend.
and blonde.
because
and
I
other
mean,
blonde.
This was pre Mulholland Drive too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I mean, I remember that being part of the origin story of Naomi Watts and with The Ring.
Yeah.
Was that they were like, oh, she's Nicole Kidman's friend.
It's their friend. Okay.
All right, here's one that
Friends can pull strings. Are you listening, successful friends?
Here's one that I'm curious if either one of you are going to get. I saw this movie in the theater. Enter a new dimension beyond all you can imagine where fantasy becomes reality.
Is it for like Dolby THX
No.
sound? Okay. Enter a new dimension where fantasy becomes real. And this is
Beyond
not
all
the,
you can imagine
like
where
an ad for
fantasy
Blu-ray
becomes-
movies.
It sounds like an HDTV ad, but it is not. It is an animated movie.
Oh, okay. It's an animated movie from 2001, and we're entering a new dimension.
Oh, was it that Final Fantasy?
It is the Final Fantasy,
the
the spirits within.
within.
Everybody was blown away by that trailer when it came out.
Oh, the guy looked like Matt
Beautiful.
Damon.
Yeah, I remember being
No,
an
he looked
apologist
like-
for that movie.
he
I
looked
went to
like
see it with
Ben
my
Affleck.
friends. They're like, this is so boring. I was
I
like, no.
Yeah.
I
No, it's
saw that
good. Look
movie
at them.
at a random dollar theater in Orange County that I always It bothers me that I don't know where that theater is. That I've even Google searched it. Dollar Theater, Southern California, that are closed.
There's so many.
I know,
but they were everywhere at that time where you could go see movies for $1, and I saw that and Final Destination at that theater.
The final double feature.
Well,
wasn't there like a sexy love scene for these like CGI?
I think so. I remember
people?
none of it.
Yeah, Ming-Na and Alec Baldwin, but the Alec Baldwin character looks like Ben Affleck.
It looked like Alec Baldwin from Beetlejuice.
No, he just straight up looked like Ben Affleck.
Okay,
like it was weird. Like I remember like reviews pointing it out.
All right, here's the next one. On July 27th, Take Back the Planet.
Planet of the Apes.
It's Planet of the Apes. I thought Planet of the Apes was a July 4th movie. July 27th. How do you like that?
Okay.
I mean, I think that we all felt the disappointment getting out of Planet of the Apes. I remember being so excited for that.
I was at the height of my like Tim Burton apology.
I remember being
era.
really disappointed.
So I was like,
and
no,
I
you
didn't
guys,
want to admit to
you
myself
don't get
that
it.
it was not great. If you have what it takes, you can have it all. And then here's another one. When the sun goes down, another world comes to life. So this is the start of a very successful franchise for Universal. That they are still cranking out these movies. And people fucking love them.
When the sun goes down, you can have it all.
Okay.
The Fast and the Furious.
It's the
Tokyo
Fast and the
Drift?
Furious. It
is the Fast and the
Which
Furious?
one?
It is the Fast and the Furious.
Really?
It's the first
like
one.
number one?
Yep.
Wow.
I said, not to confuse you, but I said two taglines.
Yeah, no,
like,
yeah, I got
one
that
after
part.
Too
each other.
fast, too
But I don't
furious.
think either of them had anything to do with the Fast and the Furious.
When the sun goes down, another world comes to
I know-
life,
what?
like illegal street racing.
I
Oh,
guess.
I think
thought
that's
it was
the
about
idea.
like
You know what it reminds me of?
fairies or something.
It's like the language version of those Kenner action figures from movies that like didn't actually like you're like, oh no, that guy wasn't so ripped, or that woman
yeah.
didn't have such big boobs.
Right. The Luke Skywalker where his chest is like 50,
Oh, yes!
50 inches.
Yes,
And
you're
his
like,
waist is
damn.
like 27 inches.
Yes.
I distinctly remember licking that action figure.
Scott's got him in the other room. We still have
Cuddles with him at night.
night.
3.75 inches of man.
That Luke Skywalker is wild, you guys.
Yeah, no, he built. Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
not built.
No,
Okay.
not so much.
I have another one.
All right.
Disaster is an instinct.
Disaster is an instinct.
That was
Here's another one.
Too late for
my
Twister.
grinder
time-
handle for a bit.
This time, it's not just a walk in the park.
This time, it's not just a walk in the park.
Jurassic Park 3.
Jurassic Park 3.
Hey!
I would say one of the underrated of the Jurassic Park movies. There has been far worse. The Others.
Thank you.
Where were we when we first watched The Others?
I was at the Krikorian Theater.
It was Krikorian, yep.
Did you?
No, I didn't see it.
And I remember
Well,
it was
maybe I did because I
Friday
saw it
night-
with Earhart and we liked going to
Yeah,
that theater.
Friday night, big group of friends, and we just kept repeating that one line from the trailer as we were like waiting to enter the theater, because again, we thought we were sophisticated comedians.
Because this movie was marketed that Miramax put everything in this trailer. They're like, oh, like we can't have this movie fail. Like we are putting in every single line delivery of Nicole Kidman and Fiona Flanagan.
Fionnula. I love Fionnula Flanagan.
Mm-hmm.
What a name!
She was on Star Trek: The Next Generation. She played Data's mother.
I always remember her from the Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood too.
Yeah. Also that.
Mm-hmm.
Also that.
I remember I was in Southern California when this movie opened that I really wanted to see it, but for some reason we went to Rat Race instead. We were at City Walk and we saw Rat Race instead of The Others.
Gosh,
I had to wait
that's tough.
to see this movie. I probably saw this early October in Lewistown. I remember it was a rainy day. I was being a stagehand on the Three Musketeers, the school play, and me and my best friend Jamie went to this movie. I don't even think my parents were even in town.
Were you scared?
Too.
Yeah. What was
yeah.
your take?
Oh, loved it.
I mean,
Scary moments in this movie.
I did not figure out the twist.
Edge of my seat.
I hadn't
didn't
either. No, I thought it was
didn't know
very clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will say
classic bait and switch marketing.
I will say though that the marketing gave away a lot of good scares.
Yeah.
I mean, our favorite line we can all say, "I am your daughter."
Are you mad? I am your daughter.
That was all over the marketing, and we loved it.
It wasn't. And there aren't really a whole lot of jump scares.
No,
in
there's
this.
not.
It's more just the.
But that's such a big. But that's such a big moment, and for them to blow
the fact
it,
that we get
to blow it in the ad campaign, to put
uh,
it in TV spots.
bugged the shit out of me.
Fucking Weinsteins.
But I still have to say, none of us called the twist. We were all like geeked, gooped, and gagged when we got to the big ending. I was like, we were watching it the other day just to prep for this,
And I remember
was like,
all of us at 13 being really cool. We're like, oh my God, you remember what it's like? It's like The Sixth Sense. Do you remember that? And they're like, oh my God, yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Your
because
sophisticated
they were
movie
dead.
brains.
Oh my, yeah. No, we thought we were making that connection.
Yeah,
We're like, oh my
yeah.
gosh.
So
that's pretty good.
You mentioned something a little earlier that one of the men responsible for this movie is Nicole Kidman's ex-husband,
None
Tom
other
Cruise.
Yeah.
Has he ever been an executive producer on anything?
I think that he
he's not.
exec
That he
produces
has not done.
all of his own movies. He does stuff with
but-
Cameron Crowe. I think that he
Oh, okay.
exec produced Elizabethtown.
Did Paula Wagner work on
Interesting.
any non-Tom Cruise projects?
I don't think so. And
Yeah.
they were like work buddies at the time at Paramount.
Now, I always got it confused because doesn't he have a sister that, like, what does she just do his hair or something?
Oh, I don't know.
He
Yeah,
has
Tom
he has a
Cruise does
sister
have a
that's, like,
sister.
real.
That's very hands-on with this career.
Maybe she's his manager
Yeah,
or something.
maybe.
She's his Xenu liaison.
So I have a little theory of
Nothing
why
seen it.
Tom Cruise ended up producing this movie. So this director, he's from Spain. He directed...
He is from Spain. Like
is from
Hilaria,
Spain.
Like Hilaria Baldwin.
Como se dice cucumber?
Well, that's when Alec would talk about Hilaria on like talk shows and stuff.
You're
and
obsessed with
I'm
Hilaria Baldwin.
Obsessed with Hilaria.
It's like when a kid discovers death.
So when he would talk about her on talk shows, and he would do the Spanish accent, and the talk show host would laugh and laugh, and then he'd preface it and go, "My wife's from Spain."
So dumb.
Yeah, it's not. I swear this isn't problematic.
My wife is.
I'm allowed. I'm allowed.
when
we
you-
have
when
we
you-
have mixed race children.
So when
You're
you
like,
just
but
said
they're-
right now
but
that
they're
the
white.
director's from Spain. Yes, I'm in a bar.
So this director did a movie called...
Wonderkind.
So he did a movie called Open Your Eyes.
Yes.
Abre los ojos.
Abre los
That
ojos.
Tom Cruise and Cameron Crowe watched this movie,
And both were
Oh,
and
that's
they
right.
were
jerking
just,
each other off
and
the
they
whole
were
time in
just
the movie
jerking
theater.
each other off and
Yeah.
hell bent that they had to do an American remake of this movie.
They didn't.
That
Yeah, I was gonna
think
say,
that,
They did not.
and I
Can
think
you
that
even call
just
it that?
Tom Cruise was courting the director, and I would imagine that he was just like, anything that you want to make, we can make it happen because I'm Tom fucking Cruise.
Do we have any? Okay, I'm really fascinated at the genesis of this because
Right.
it won like 8 Goya awards.
Well,
It was filmed in Spain.
It's co-financed with like
It's
Spain.
it's because
too.
Amenabar is a
Yeah.
Spanish director, and he just
Like
probably
90% of
this is going to be
everything
my
is-
big U.S. movie, but fuck if I'm not going to make it in Spain.
Yeah.
But isn't that? I just find that bizarre that it's
Yeah.
like it's in English. You've
Right.
got English-speaking actors, but
Right.
everybody else who's contributed to it is Spanish.
Well, I think it might have been Tom Cruise's way, like Scott was saying. If you give me Abre los ojos,
Yeah.
I will make
give you Nicole.
I will give you Nicole.
I'll give you
And
Nicole.
You could have made this movie in Spain,
I'm used to bartering with her.
right? As
We
a
spent
chip,
time with Stanley Kubrick, okay?
Exactly. She's his poker chip, and he's probably said you could make your little ghost movie in Spain, and it'll do well, and it'll be crossover, and we'll love it like Abre los ojos. But if you make it with Nicole and make it an American movie,
It'll be a global hit.
It will, and you will be the next, Cameron Crowe or whatever.
And mind
I mean,
you,
he
this
can't
was
even
a
say
closet,
Del Toro.
this was a closet gay.
Amenabar?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he was not
Do
out
we know
at
that
the
he is
time.
gay?
Is he gay?
Yeah.
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 Is that confirmed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
is.
know that.
Yeah,
But he
it
didn't
is.
come out until like 2016.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Interesting.
He got married to a
Okay.
man and then they got divorced. Very there.
I mean, he did do that crazy movie with Rachel Weisz and Cora. So it's like that. That seems like something
Yeah.
that a gay man would
Yeah.
have like
Yeah.
Yeah.
would have done.
Yeah, but imagine it's like you're a gay, you're a closeted gay Spaniard.
And Tom Cruise approaches you.
Tom Cruise approaches you, and he's like, you can't play with my parts, but you can
I'll
turn my
give
wife
you-
into a doll.
I'll give you $1 million
play
to
with
sleep
her
my
hair.
wife.
This will be the one time she doesn't wear a wig. The one time she doesn't wear a wig.
I think she is wigged in this movie.
I don't know. There's
think
actually
she
one
is.
part where she shakes her head really
Nicole's
fast.
wigs are that good.
I
Andy.
didn't see any. I saw no seams.
saw no line,
It didn't come. Yeah,
no crease.
everything was really. I was like, I think that might be.
And it's so short and it's finely textured. I don't know. Well, that's up for debate. But I mean I think our kind of these are our theories that we've come up with, and because it does beg the question, what the fuck? Like the circumstances about this movie being made, like you're saying, Spanish director, Spanish crew, made in Spain.
Yeah,
but
at
it's
the time
be,
it was quote unquote the highest it was the highest grossing like film in Spain.
And you're right, it won
it
all
was
the
nominated
Goyas.
for 15 Goyas, won 8.
Yeah.
Won best
It won
picture,
best film.
Best
And
picture, best director.
and not a line of Spanish. Yeah. And
best screenplay, and it was the first screenplay in Spanish in the Goyas. To be totally in English. So it's like what the fuck happened here?
Yeah, and it's like Del Toro when he was making his movies, his Spanish movies. It's like he always just had a Spanish crew, but he also used Mexican actors. And well, he used a lot of Spanish actors as well because he's obsessed with the Spanish Civil War, but that's a different story. But yeah, it's just so interesting that he was able to, after making one big hit, to say like, okay, now you're going to break out into the United States. Unfortunately, he did not become a huge U.S.
No, but I will tell you,
he won the.
I was going to say, fortune did befall him, and that was glowing up.
Oh, sure, okay.
Because I was looking at pictures
did he go to Turkey to get the
Is
old
he kind of a daddy now?
Yeah, no, he's daddied up.
Is he dad now?
Yeah,
okay.
he looks great. But I was watching the behind the scenes from 2001. He did not.
No, he was
actually like he had that thing that the British folks do where their teeth are so bad that the top lip is really tightly kind of covering what's happening.
Oh my god!
But then you can tell that motherfucker got caps.
Oh yeah, he looks good. Yeah, it looks like he got his hairline kind of fixed.
I mean, Pete, he did direct a movie that won the foreign language Oscar,
which is
in
called
2004, The Sea Inside.
The Sea Inside
with Javier Bardem.
Okay, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Nothing could. I mean, I feel like
20 years ago.
But like now
20
he
years ago.
would be handed like a movie franchise.
But he's not.
Like the guy that did The Orphanage,
right?
A couple years ago was given one of the Jurassic Park sequels.
Okay. But yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, The Sea Inside was a hit, but it's like it's not like Joe, the plumber is all about like Alejandro Amenabar movies. Joe the plumber just died. Sorry,
too soon.
Oh, I know. I didn't really mean him. I just meant like.
I think this movie.
I'm just saying he's not a household name in 2023.
I think this movie is really interesting when you look at the landscape for horror movies.
Absolutely.
He mentioned that just sort of. He was becoming frustrated with the tendencies of contemporary horror movies, with just kind of all of these in-jokes. Scream.
Yeah.
Or either they're gory, they're expensive, they use too much special effects. I mean, this was a couple years removed from Jan de Bont's The Haunting.
Oh,
that people kind of forget that The Sixth Sense kind of gooped The Haunting. That everybody went into the summer movie season of '99 thinking, "Oh, bitch, The Haunting remake."
I mean, Liam
is
Neeson,
going to be a big deal.
Zeta Jones,
and then
Owen Wilson. We thought it was there,
and then The Sixth Sense just came and just like was this huge cultural smash. Also open in August, which is probably the reasoning why the Weinsteins put this movie late summer, because it worked a couple years before for The Sixth Sense.
You know what's fascinating too? Like, so this is a Weinstein movie, but then they did all the. I mean, with Dimension, they were doing Scream. They were doing
right.
They were doing Halloween H2O.
They were doing producing their own counter programming.
They were part of the. They were like, we're going to be the problem and the solution.
I mean, it's so interesting that this movie landed in the Weinstein's lap,
Yeah.
especially being produced by somebody like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of shocked that Paramount didn't do it, because I think at this time, Tom was more or less making movies exclusively with Paramount. Because they did all of the Mission Impossible movies.
Oh, okay. I like a horror movie where no one dies. I mean, do you know what I mean? It's like there's not like there's not kills.
Okay, they're not kills. Yeah,
not
like you could make the.
I mean, well, yeah, they're dead, but they already been that way. So there's no kills. So there's no like body count. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And
Because it's not a slasher. And
Right.
when you think about the fact that like what came after, like the horror after this period, this is when we start to get into like Saw and the torture porn.
Yes.
And
not for me.
You know, and it's bizarre that it's like we went from slashers that like were kind of, I mean, as much as we love a Scream franchise and all that, I mean, Scream 3 and stuff, we were sort of getting, it was getting tired.
It was running out of gas.
And so they bring back the haunted house movie.
Well, I also feel like something like Columbine kind of had a big deal.
And then again, something happened like late summer, early fall, like 2001.
2001,
like,
sure.
Yeah.
I wonder
Kind of changed their sensibilities as a country. Yeah. But no, you're right. There's something to be said for a moody haunted house movie. Like you're mentioning The Sixth Sense, not a haunted house, but like a moody kind of horror
kind
movie.
of some of the references that Alejandro talks about when developing the story. Rebecca, The Changeling, The Shining, The Innocents.
The Innocents.
Yeah.
Robert Wise, The Haunting. That he said, I put these haunted house films together and I had a little trick for the end.
So,
and especially when you look at a movie like The Innocents, too.
Yeah. That's the one, that's the Bly Manor.
Turn of the Screw.
Oh, I mean, the atmosphere, the... one thing I thought would be really interesting would be to see this film desaturated. I wonder if it still plays like in black and white, considering how much of the movie takes place in darkness.
Right.
In watching the behind the scenes with Nicole Kidman, she's like, oh, this movie is a cinematographer's dream.
Yeah.
Because of what you get to do with light. Mm-hmm. And so I would love to see like a black and white print of this.
I was noticing that too when we watched our Blu-ray copy of it. We don't have the 4K quite
We don't
yet.
have the 4K Criterion yet. It just came out this week, though.
Yeah. So we watched our Blu-ray on a 4K
SponCon.
television.
No, just kidding.
Yeah. Criterion Channel, if you're listening, hit us up. Occasionally, an older movie with older special effects don't always scale up to like a 4K television, right? Sure. Sometimes the effects look a little wonky. And then there's that thing like in a sitcom where they're like, good night, and they turn off the lights, and then at the same moment, like blue light is flooded into the room. So
very theater.
Yeah, very theater. So they did a couple of things in this movie that were so successful where they would close the curtains and then she would light a candle. Mm-hmm. And it's like it got so dark, but then the candlelight would like start off soft, but then it was enough to light up the 2 or 3 people that were in the scene. And it was just like, damn, bitch, they really did that. That looks good.
Yeah.
Like it didn't look like, and now we're shining a spotlight on you to like be the candlelight.
Because that's not an easy thing to do.
No.
I mean, lighting is fucking challenging. So when you think that they were able to, and then the moments where
and they do it a lot. It's in a lot of scenes where it's just a candle or a
There's
torch.
one thing I noticed, and I wondered if it was like, if it was just the shots they chose, if it was intentional, but there are several times where she goes to close curtains and there's just a little sliver of light.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but think like that was intentional.
Right. Well, it's that thing with blackout curtains. That's real. Like I'm wild about the blackout curtains.
Oh yeah,
the
I can sleep in until
I'm like,
noon
bitch,
and
I need to. No, this will never do. Mm-hmm. I cannot with a little sliver. I'm like, just readjusting until I'm about to get the like binder clips, and like binder clip the 2 together down the middle, so I don't get.
But you're photosensitive. That's why.
Yeah, I've got the pigmentosa.
Like, mommy, the lights.
You know I can't. Go to the other room.
Jane and Michael Banks.
Know I can't.
Over here.
Okay. We haven't even started talking about them yet, but these kids, they are, both of them do such an amazing job at these performances.
Yeah.
The little boy, you just want to squeeze his cheeks and tell him to get your shit together. and the daughter is just like, oh my God.
And apparently they had a hell of a time finding
good.
her. They said there was like a 6-month search for her. And I was trying to think, at first I was like, oh God, like they always say that about kid actors and stuff.
Right.
But you're like, no, because she has to be an antagonist.
They have to do a lot.
Right, yeah.
The fact that like she and Nicole Kidman are like up in each other's business.
Mm-hmm.
And kids very rarely in movies they don't play assholes too.
Yeah, like
they don't play asshole children.
Yeah, this little girl had to be self-possessed.
Yes, she's playing a little bit of a bad seed thing.
Yeah.
And
because we're not
so
supposed.
good.
I mean, that's kind of the fun thing about like when she says, she sees Victor, is that
Right.
we're like, and
Does she? Is
her
she?
mother is
Yeah.
obviously trying to, and that's the fun of the ambiguity, is that her mother is like, whatever.
And
like,
it's
she's
really
bored.
fun in rewatches where you can read it in their performance that, these two know. These two know the real story.
Yeah.
But what you didn't see, you were only getting half the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many cool little things about like little lines. I think it's like a throwaway line about, the twist where she says early on, she's like, well, it happened. The little girl. And just like that line. And so watching it, knowing what's coming, you're like, wow.
When Mummy went mad.
When Mummy went mad.
Oh my God.
And when she's when the three folks come initially and she's introducing them, she says, sometimes my children make up stories. Meaning that like there's this really great subtle way that like it rewards you on rewatches.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It rewards you on
Yeah.
rewatches because if you don't know, I mean, going into it, having not seen it for years, I was like, Jesus, like this movie makes me uneasy.
Yeah.
Because of all the things that they say that, are going to be validated.
Yeah.
But you don't know who to trust, which is really
You're
fun
building
in
the
a horror
tension
film.
with
Yeah.
the pulling of the curtains, locking every door.
Yeah, you're
that
like,
there's a whole
what-
process of
what
when
is
you're
going
just
on
walking
here?
from one area of the house to the other.
And even
too.
things about like time and place. It's like, okay, so we know that it's like there's something about it being in like this post-war.
Right.
Yep.
Dad is yet to
Set
come home.
on the island of Jersey.
Yeah, right between like off of Normandy, like between France
Which
and-
I mean, for this
In the
time,
English Channel.
especially for this time, that's out in the boonies.
Yeah, no,
like you are
very
close to
isolated.
France.
So the fact that they, like how she said the power went out and they just never brought it back.
Yep.
And the fact that you never know, like when they first come, what I think is interesting is, and it's almost scary at first. I was like, oh God, what's going to happen when she's like, well, I guess it's time you should meet the children.
Right.
Because the way it's presented that like, okay, now we must lock all the doors. We have to close all the blinds. And now you're going to see my children. And then these
Are
two
they
precious,
mutants?
and then these like, two precious little angels come out.
Yeah.
But she's like, oh, they've just woken up. And I'm like, what fucking time
It
of day
is the middle
it?
of the day.
But you also don't know because of
Yeah.
the fog.
Yeah. That's true too. Yeah,
Well,
you're right.
and I would imagine that she probably keeps hours with her kids that they are up late at night just because that cuts down.
it's a little easier
on
to have them.
just sort of
Walking about the
circumstances
house.
where they could touch
Yeah.
light too.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. She's like, yeah, let's just tucker them out. Tucker them out.
So I remember when this movie was first released, and it was a bit of a, like you said, Scott, like a bit of a sleeper hit, right?
Yep, they
And-
gradually made more and more money.
Yes. And it was word of mouth that people were really talking about it, and the twist, and
They kept
and how
adding
just-
screens as the weeks went on.
Right. And just how moody it was and everything that we're saying. Not a lot of special effects and still so scary and all that stuff. Well, one of the big talking points of this movie was the affliction that these two children have. This
Yeah, talk about that.
xeroderma pigmentosum. And I specifically remember like not a current affair, but like the other one.
Hard copy?
Like maybe it was like hard copy or one of the news magazines that would
One
be
of the
around
rags.
about the
after
others.
after the news, but it was just a rag. And they would have they had
Extra.
like kids. It wasn't quite extra because that was more like
That was more celebrities.
celebrity. These were the ones that did kind of like quote unquote hard news, but they were still just
the truth about kids.
yeah.
They were kind of exploitation.
yes.
Yeah.
And so they would have kids with xeroderma pigmentosum.
No.
Yes.
Oh, those
And-
poor things. And,
and
they're
the whole-
shining a light in
Yeah,
them. And they're
these
like,
huge
you know I
Klieg lights,
can't,
yeah.
Mother. You know I can't.
So the whole
It makes them
thing
British.
was that their parents would, like you said, would have their schedules be flipped, and they had these little playgrounds set up for them outside, so they could go and play outside in the dark.
Oh, that's so heartbreaking. Oh my
and like
gosh.
Nancy O'Dell or whoever was just like eating it up like with a spoon.
So is it really
like,
to that extent of, because I remember it was funny when I was trying to think about like what was like things about this movie that are gay. I was like, well, the kids are dramatic, that's for sure.
I mean that.
But when she says to them like they can't be exposed to light, and then she just starts going, she's like, because they'll start to get sores and blisters,
boils
and then they won't be able to breathe, and after a few minutes they'll die.
Yeah.
They'll suffocate.
Is that really how bad it is? Or is it just like like you start to get sunburned fast or something?
It's a genetic disorder, decreased ability to repair DNA damage, such as caused by ultraviolet light. Some symptoms may include a severe sunburn only after a few minutes. Let's see, dry skin, changes in pigmentation, nervous system problems.
It just sounds like they're white.
Right. They're just like, complications including high risk of skin cancer. I mean, this doesn't look like you're gonna like go and get like Kirsten.
Quickly, cover me with a blanket.
Kirsten Dunst at the bottom of the well or anything. But like, I don't know.
Mommy, I'm turning to ash.
The photo of the kid that they have at the top of the wiki page is pretty rough. But yeah.
Let me see. Viewers, you might want to.
Yeah, open up your Wikipedias. Help, Scott.
Oh, that's sad. It's not even a white child.
No, it's a Guatemalan.
Oh, this one has pigment. Oh,
yeah.
Poor angel.
Yeah, and they've got like natural pigmentation, and they still got that pigmentosa.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, wait. Now I'm really gonna need to.
You're like text this to myself.
Prevention, no cure available.
Oh,
I feel like
gosh.
this movie. I mean, you can do various wiki deep dives on this movie. That when you, I was on the Wikipedia today of post-mortem photography.
Post-mortem photography.
Oh, I was looking up Chantilly lace, but I know what you mean.
The practice of photographing the recently deceased.
Okay.
Postmortem photography was particularly popular in Victorian Britain from 1860 to 1910. These post-mortem portraits were very much like American portraits in style, focusing on the deceased, either displayed as they were asleep or with the family.
Yeah, what was this about? Was it like to honor them?
Often these images were placed in family photo albums.
Mrs. Mills, Fionnuala Flanagan, with the best Irish accent ever. I love Fionnuala Flanagan being just like, yeah, I'm Irish. I'm going to do my damn voice for once in a movie.
Mrs. Mills? Yes, ma'am. Do you have any idea what this might be?
Oh, it is a photograph album, ma'am.
No, but look, they're all asleep. Look.
They're not asleep, ma'am. They're dead. It is a book of the dead. In the last century, I believe they used to take photographs of the dead in the hopes that their souls would go on living through the portraits.
They're even group portraits. And children. Oh, it's macabre. How could these people be so superstitious?
Grief over the death of a loved one can lead people to do the strangest things.
Get rid of it. I don't want it in the house.
Yeah,
as I would love like a hot cunty little photo shoot when I'm dead. I want that.
You up.
Yeah, I want that to be. I'm gonna write that into my will that like the moment I'm dead.
Yeah.
Get
a boudoir
David
photo
LaChapelle,
shoot.
Someone real.
A boudoir.
Exactly. Yeah, and make it hot.
A post-mortem boudoir.
Make it hot, and I want to be posed. I want to be like things that I didn't do in life. I want to be done to my body.
I want them like
to honor me, to help my soul move on.
Like headshots, one where I'm like looking in like a microscope.
Oh yeah, one where I'm winking. Yeah. No, I want one of like me in space.
Yeah.
Like I want, you know what I also want to commemorate, like since we're talking about 2001, remember the star shots? Like we would have the kids that have the pictures with like the bubbles in the background.
Yeah. Like a glamour shot.
Yeah, the glamour shot. Yeah. Okay. That was big. I remember me and all the girls would do that.
Okay.
At Clifton Middle. That's when you knew you were in with the cool girls. Because they'd be like, "Oh, do you want to go to the mall and we'll take the picture with the bubbles in the background?"
Go to the Santa Anita Mall.
Santa Anita Mall, yeah.
And do the photo shoot.
Well, all right, listeners, you heard it here first. Get your pre-order, your post-mortem photos.
Put them in
of all of
the
us.
will. Put them in the will.
But just kind of a fun, spooky layer to this movie that it probably kind of lifts right out.
Well, that was another thing, too, that I remember reading at the time in, like, reviews or whatever, being like, oh, all those photos that they showed, those are real. Those are real post-mortem photos.
Are they real now?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what I read.
That's what the internet says.
Yeah. I was looking up, like, a sensible house shoe that like Nick was wearing.
Don't we love the fact that her shoes are just butt fucking ugly.
They're like they're like penny loafers almost.
Yeah, actually, all
like
of her outfits are.
I mean, this is a
All her
woman.
outfits-
I like her. I mean, they're just like
When is she?
house dresses.
There's a lot of brown, a lot of burgundy.
When is she gonna have time to go to town to get a new wardrobe?
eggplant. Yeah,
She's been
that's
wearing
true.
the same like three
Well, everything
dresses.
is hard for her. Like, remember, she's like, what did she say that line? It makes no sense. Where she's like, my husband's gone to war. Who's going to cook or something?
Yeah.
It's like, and they're like, what? And they're like, what? And then she's like, who's going to cook?
There's only 3 of you.
yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, okay. Like, I guess you really have been struggling. And we also have to point out that, like, I think it gets lost in these movies, but like, this is obviously like a very rich woman.
Yeah, I would think so if they bought this house.
So she's got this massive house that
yeah.
she's like used to having like a whole lot of help. Where it's like, okay, it's just you and 2 kids, but she's like, oh my God, who's gonna make breakfast?
She's just
there are 3 of us.
I just think Nick with like maybe a light, some light mental illness. I'm here for it.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
like
I thought,
a nervous condition.
Well, that's the thing about in this movie is that
Is it a nervous condition?
This woman is on the edge.
Yes.
This entire movie. I mean, I want to talk a little bit about this performance of Nicole Kidman. I think one of my favorite actresses ever. I mean,
Nick.
surprise, surprise. We
Sure.
talk a lot about our Nick, but I think this is probably top 5 for me. That there is something about her intensity and just her just teetering on the edge of this
Right.
movie.
Right.
yeah.
And I mean, just Nicole at the shotgun. Nicole at the shotgun
gosh.
cinema.
Wondering House was.
It's like The Others, Cold Mountain.
Yeah.
I wonder what other movies she has shotguns in.
You that was one of my points about Natalie Portman's performance in Black Swan.
Yeah.
Is that she is playing this entire performance is on the verge of tears, right? And
there are people like this, and
that's true.
and this
Yeah.
person fits so well into this genre. And what I love about this performance is all the ways that it harkens back to. And I also noticed the gender of it. Like, it's always a woman.
yeah,
It's always a woman. It's like ghosts love women. Men are just too cynical, but like for some reason, like a ghost can get through to a gal.
yeah.
Maybe that's the gay component of this. There's something very, very queer about the fact that like it's always a woman who's like, who's the medium, or
Right,
who's like
right,
able
yeah.
to, who's
Who can
able to like
cross
touch upon
over,
the
yeah.
others. Even fucking think about like Poltergeist.
Yeah.
You got a little girl, like someone just
Yeah.
so innocent.
You got Tangina.
Tangina. And they're just always these like
All is
it's-
welcome.
But it's always this woman who's like life has never been. It's also never someone for whom like although her life could be, you could say she's charmed. Like she's a tortured person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's part of the fun of this is that like she like something just happened that like we know about or we don't know about. She knows about it. The kids know about it. It's unspoken, and that's how we walk into this movie.
Somebody is withholding information.
Yes.
Right. But I just love how, yes, she's going through it this entire movie. She's on edge. She's just like, everybody's kind of on eggshells around, the hell's her character? Grace.
Grace. Yep.
Grace.
And Grace is so, everything that she says just has this, like, just little dramatic flair to it.
Yeah.
Like when
she
she
can go
says-
from a whisper to a shout
when
in like
she's
one conversation.
Talking about.
Oh, and she's so passive aggressive.
Oh my God. When she's talking about the children and their condition. And so I don't open one door without closing the previous door and locking it. And so that we can do the curtains and all that stuff. But she says, this house is like a ship.
Yeah.
And light is like water. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Dramatic.
Dramatic.
Oh, and like when she says they can't play the piano, she's like, we highly privilege silence.
Oh, I prize
silence.
No one can ever play the piano.
This huge 50-room mansion, and
15 keys. That's all it takes. 15 keys.
and these children can't like even speak or like fiddle around on the piano. You can't hear them fiddling on that piano if you're a couple rooms over, lady. Let them be children. Damn. Silence, that would drive me insane. She doesn't have a TV. Well, no one had a TV.
No one.
But she doesn't have a radio. She doesn't have electricity. God damn it. I can't. Grace, get your shit together. But yeah, I do love her flair for the dramatic.
I couldn't bear to have another migraine attack.
Oh my goodness, my migraine brings on my migraine. Oh my God.
Please tell the mute to silence us.
Lydia, is that when Lydia went dumb?
Oh my God.
love it.
I
Cat
love
got
that
your tongue?
Yeah, doesn't she ask? That's another thing that, what does she say? It's like, was she born a mute? The girl, was she born a mute?
Yeah.
And she just goes, no.
Yeah.
And you're like, but what's the story?
Yep.
This movie knows,
Yeah.
but it won't let us know.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing about, I mean, Fiona Flanagan. Fiona Flanagan is that she knows what's up.
Well, you know what I
Two.
love about this movie is that it plays with us as the audience, and you said that it rewards you on second.
There's
viewing,
various
right?
cards being played.
when you
with
watch
these
this for the
characters.
first time. You're like, wait, are Mrs. Mills and Mr. Tuttle? Are they the ghosts?
Yeah.
Are they the bad guys?
Yeah.
Are they bringing the ghosts? Because they're very ambiguous to each other. They're like, all right, she's
They're hiding headstones.
Yeah, but they do it in a way that they give each other knowing looks, but it's pretty sinister. And they're not actually sinister characters. They're kind of benevolent characters. They want to walk Grace and these kids through what they're going through.
That's why they're there.
But we as the audience don't know that yet, and we're just like, oh shit, don't trust Mr. Tuttle.
And it's so fun how that plays out because she says on
Mills.
at least two occasions,
Mr. Tuttle.
it's once with the headstones, and then once she says to Anne when she validates, like, no, I believe you,
Right.
And she's like, but your mother doesn't, and she was like, all in time, all in time,
Yeah.
because it's like what they died 50 years ago. This is not her first rodeo.
Right.
She's like,
At the
I've helped
tuberculosis.
many people. The tuberculosis. Yeah, no, it's like she's seen several families come and go, and she's like she's helped people make this transition.
Yeah.
So she knows that it's like just like with she's not going to be the conversion therapist here. She wants to help you. She wants to help you come out of the closet, but she knows that it's like it takes some time.
It's your journey.
It's your journey. So she just wants to be here to cheer you on and to be like, no, of course it's the mute upstairs. She's
Stomping
not
around.
outside. Yeah. And she's like, no, ma'am, I believe you. Someone was playing the piano. I heard it.
Sure, I'll go talk to her who's been outside for an hour.
Yeah. I mean, it's
All
so
in
clever
time.
that had there ever really been a ghost story that took that angle. So
Yeah.
I kind of go back and forth with if I personally believe in ghosts, that I think a lot of the times people that have ghost stories, for the most part, are elaborating
Scott is a
on a lot of
skeptic.
things. I'm a skeptic, not saying that I don't completely believe, but I do kind of reason with myself of, okay, if ghosts did exist, this is how it would go, is that they don't know that they're ghosts. They're going about their lives and they don't know.
Right. Well, yes.
I mean, I think like ghosts as part of stories, they're always serving a purpose for that character.
True.
And for what they're going through. And people who believe in ghost stories kind of, for whatever Freudian reason, need that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like to believe, I'm not that I'm a skeptic, but I just kind of, I think it's fun to think that my view of the world isn't the limit of the world.
Sure.
There very well could be things like this. The fact that ghost stories have been around as long as stories have been around,
Oh, yeah.
as long as narratives have been and oral traditions have been told, the fact that people would come around a campfire
Yeah.
and tell a story about like a ghost, or there is sort of that sense of it is to honor people of the past. It's like
Fascination with death, too.
Yeah, fascination with death. This is a very human thing. Is that like we're all going to, I mean, and think about back in the day when people only lived to be like 10 anyways. They're like, death is always on your mind. So
30, you were like an old man.
Yeah, so it's like, it's almost like let's get comfortable with death by having these like externalized, like, you know, characters in our lives. You know, like the fact that she thinks it's a very harmless thing, Victor, that it's just like an imaginary friend.
Right.
Because once you say it's a ghost, then it becomes something scary.
Yeah.
But if you just say like, no, I just have imaginary friends, that's actually pretty innocent.
Right.
There's a kindness to that. That's what we offer to children. But as you go through life and you experience these tragedies, then those are the ghosts that haunt you. They are not your invisible friends anymore.
There you go. I like the idea of like these ghostly children appearing in whatever their garb of their era.
Yes, always British.
Yes.
They must be British.
So we're waiting for, you know, ghost stories 20 or 30 years from now where it's a little kid flossing like in the living room. Just like doing the stanky leg and flossing.
Oh, I thought you meant literally flossing.
No, the
okay.
dance.
Oh, God. And they just be really annoying, like, okay.
Skate. And
yeah,
then they run out of the room.
Yeah, thinking that they are the height of cultural sophistication for their time. Yeah, and they run out of the room.
Yeah. So my thing about ghosts is I'm like...
Do you know any personally?
A few. I got them on speed dial. So I'm like, okay, are they just like walking around living their life? They're just trapped here? I don't know about that. I really liked, I don't know, Scott, you've not seen, have you seen The Woman in White with Lucas Haas from the 80s? Okay, The Woman in White is a ghost movie from the 80s with Katherine Hellman and, or maybe it's The Lady in White. But they did this thing where... And they kind of did it in High Spirits as well, where the ghosts were just
High
like...
Spirits, I remember that. That was fun.
Young Liam Neeson.
Daryl Hannah, right?
Daryl Hannah, yes. They did this thing where the ghosts were just playing out like... almost like how they died.
Sure.
Really. And so they weren't really interacting. They weren't like, you know...
Oh, they like weren't
You're
serving
sitting
a
in my
purpose,
chair,
or
so I'm gonna
yeah.
rattle my chains. They were just like, it was almost like these echoes of these, you know, impactful moments in their life or their death, or whatever.
And they're just stuck on loop.
Yeah.
Oh,
so they can't
curious.
really interact with you that much, but if you see it, what you're seeing is just like this echo of.
And see, I think there's something kind of pleasant about that. And if we're talking about like the idea of honoring people and like carrying those who we lost with us through life.
Yeah.
Telling the story of the person living on. Like my mom, there was something, she has like a ghost story from when she was a kid. Not that she believes in ghosts, but she's one in particular that she's like, it was the one time when I was 12 and I'll never forget it and blah, blah, blah. So anytime she hears a certain chime, she's like from her wind chime, she's like, oh, that's Grandma.
Sure.
And it just kind of gives her a comfort of like, oh, Grandma's here.
Yeah.
And when you think about it too, like I was thinking about the canon of ghost movies. And first I started with like Haunted House, which is obviously what this is going for. It's supposed to be moody, atmospheric, and scare you. But when you think about ghosts in the context of like, I mean, shit, the movie Ghost is romance, you know?
Yeah.
And then I was trying to think. I was like, what's the best corollary for this? Like living with your ghosts. And I was like, well, Beetlejuice.
Sure. Yep.
You know. And then and Ghostbusters. Like these things are fun. These are pleasant.
Yeah.
And kind of the others does that thing that Beetlejuice does. That
you're trapped in this house.
You're trapped in this house. That when Grace tries to leave the estate, the fog just traps her in.
The fog won't let her get far.
And then she runs into her dead husband.
Okay, listeners.
Let's talk about that piece of shit.
Ghosts. I mean, apparently ghosts can fuck too.
Yeah, they have.
Ghosts can fuck.
So, listeners, just if you have not seen this movie, there is a major twist that we have been spoiling for a moment now. I mean, we just have to talk about it because it's, you know. That's like
the ghost in the room.
We can't continue talking about this movie without addressing they dead.
So
Everyone is dead.
the story
Everyone
is
is
Christopher Eccleston went to World War II.
Yes.
He did not come back.
Right.
His wife, Grace, was stuck in this house
Right.
with these 2 kids with this condition, and it drove her crazy, and she shot both of them, and then
No, she smothered them.
she
them with
smothered
the
them
pillow.
with the pillow.
And then shot
And then
herself
she
with
shot
that
herself.
with that
With
fabulous
the
gun.
shotgun, yes. With her toe, maybe she like pulled the trigger. Okay. And that's the thing. The children the entire time, or at least the older daughter, what's her name?
Anne.
And yeah,
Anne and Nicholas.
Anne keeps referencing
Something
Mummy
that
going
happened.
mad.
when Mummy went mad.
Mummy went mad.
Yeah.
And Nicholas is like, no, she didn't.
Yeah.
But he's not saying it like, oh, stop teasing me. He's saying it like,
Shut
you better
up.
shut the fuck up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I mean, if she went to the length of killing them, she was falling apart for a while. There.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And just given their respective personalities, where he's like, just let it go.
Yeah.
She's combative, so
Yes.
she's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like,
This
I really
happened,
don't
and-
want
yeah.
Mommy to smother me. You know, she probably put up a fight, whereas Nicholas is like, he just held his
Fine.
breath. He's
Yeah.
like, okay.
I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And listeners, the inciting incident is that these 3 people who show up at their front door at the beginning are ghosts
Yes.
Uh,
That answered the letter that she never sent.
that she never sent, who perished in this home some 50 years ago.
Right.
and they just appear on the doorstep.
They just appear there.
Yeah.
Because they are there to help Grace come to terms with the events that have just taken place.
I mean, I think to them, they're just like, oh, we got another one.
Yep.
We got another one. So let's kind
Oh,
of
because my thing. So
ease her into this because she might not know what the hell's going on.
if we talk about how this like this is happening in like different times, so I'm wondering like, are they like stuck in the house in the way that she is?
Right. That brings up another question because
little ambiguous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like what Scott mentioned, at some point, Grace is like, I got to get my ass to town. I'm hearing things. I don't know what's going on. I need to go talk to the priest.
I need a priest.
I need a priest.
An old priest and a young priest.
So I need a young priest. Oh man. So she leaves down the main drive of this manor house. This very like Downton Abbey, like it's not that big, but it's a big house. And it's this tree-lined
Which is cool.
causeway, which is
I-
very cool.
I
The
was
one thing I
reading-
hate about the fog is how cool that fucking that tree line corridor that she's walking down is,
yeah.
and the fact that you really can't see
Yeah,
it.
you can't see enough of it.
So
yeah.
I was reading those were the location filming in England was her walking down that road.
but the rest
okay.
was
The rest
shot
was in
The
Spain.
rest was in Spain.
Neat.
Okay.
Neat.
And like Scott said, the fog starts closing in on her, and she can't quite leave the house. Right? Very Beetlejuice.
Very Beetlejuice.
She doesn't
Yeah,
quite go to
stepping
Venus,
into the. Yeah.
but also very like Murder House, American Horror Story. Like we're just stuck here, right?
Imagine getting stuck in like your 1-bedroom apartment.
Can you?
Could you imagine?
Oh, my
Like,
God.
thank God that these people are getting
Jesus.
stuck in these like beautiful, like
yeah.
at least they've got some
In the
some
manse.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in her travels in the fog, she meets
Her husband,
who's been lost in the war or who never made it back from the war.
but she's just been waiting.
So I love the thing that she's like, yeah, the war ended 2 years ago, but I haven't heard anything. It's like, girl, maybe you should plug the phone back in. You haven't heard anything. Go down to your
a
local
radio-
like
or does
VA.
she still is there a line
Yeah.
where they comment on the war ending?
Yeah, she says it. She says the war ended, but like I just haven't heard anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I think Anne mentions it like later on too. She's like, "What the hell? What is going on here?"
Yeah, they're just kind of like I think they've just assumed he's dead.
yeah.
Because he hasn't come back.
So
but they don't know.
here's my question. This is his like ethereal like disembodied spirit. He just got like a pass. He just got like a day pass.
I think essentially.
He just got like a day pass from like wherever he perished in the war. And they like faxed him over to like
Yeah, I guess that's just how the
back
rules
to the
work.
I guess
island.
so. Why not?
Because that's the thing. At the very end of it, he's just like, all right, I'm out.
Well, yeah, just because
he can't stay.
Whoever's like, the puppet master above is like, damn it, she's breaking the rules. We got it. It's very Truman Show.
It's Miss Argentina. She's up there. She's just like,
yep.
She's like pulling all the strings. She's like, got his punch card. She's just like, if I knew then what I knew now.
He only got a day pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a day pass.
I thought that was very interesting that he got
a conjugal visit.
Yeah,
a conjugal visit, and then I love the.
He
I
spends
also
most
love
of it in
the
bed, but not
gender
the
of
way.
this too. So we've got all the powerful people in this movie are women.
Yes.
We have Finn.
Yes.
We
Mrs.
have
Mills.
we've got Nikki.
Mm-hmm.
We've got her daughter.
Yes.
And then we've got the old woman with the eye.
Oh, the old
I've seen the old woman the most.
14
times. Yeah, that's what's scary. Yeah, that was when she was like, "Oh, I need a breeze."
That was scary. Because we've heard Victor, but again, at this point in the movie, this could be Anne putting on a voice.
Yep.
This could be Anne running back and forth.
And you're
just
not
trying to scare
really
Nicholas.
sure of when they're in bed together what exactly happens.
Oh, Victor's in that bed.
Yep.
Oh, I want to. Yeah, no,
Victor's
he's in that
like,
bed.
this
But
is my room.
You
That's
could
the
out of my
first,
bed.
like, jump scare.
But you
That's
could
the first
almost
jump
read
scare.
the scene that Anne's
Is it Anne? Yeah.
like
She's fucking with him.
Just
it's fucking with him.
Yeah. No, it's very scurry. And gosh, where are we going with this?
Running into all of these people in the house.
The women, the strong women, the fact that the ineptitude
ladies.
comes from Mr. Tuttle and comes
Mr.
from
Tuttle.
and like Nicholas, bless his heart, sweet Nicholas is just like so like no mommy.
He's just what does she call him? A custard?
Oh,
Cowdy
Cowdy custard.
Cowdy custard, cowdy custard. And then
Just a
her
cowdy
husband, who's
custard.
like who we are led to believe is like going to be someone who like he's a soldier.
Yeah.
he went off to fight, but then you realize too he's a rich ass man.
Yeah.
So he's probably just playing war games because, as she points out, she's like, "You don't even want to be here with me."
Oh my God, when she tells him all that shit and breaks it down, and she's just like, "This wasn't even our war. What the fuck did you sign up for? You volunteered."
Literally,
and you're like,
he just wanted to get away from her
Wanted to
and
get
the
away
kids.
from
because
her and the kids.
He looks. I mean,
It's not like he got drafted.
that's what I was gonna say. At that point, Christopher Eccleston, he looks like he's at least in they're like middle to later 30s. The two,
Yeah. No, they did not. He's not
He's not
able-bodied in that way.
conscripted, yeah.
If we're gonna be going back to Beetlejuice, this movie is just missing Beetlejuice as like a bioexorcism.
Yeah.
To get rid of the living.
She could have used a bioexorcism.
She could have. I mean, she
they
could
did
have
it
used
themselves,
Beetlejuice.
I guess.
Yep.
They did she did it herself, and she ripped up
But
that
the
paper.
fact that
just-
all the power in this movie resides in these women.
I
these
just,
women
I
are the
just
one
want to
who
see.
bridge the-
I just want to see
Yeah.
Juno make an appearance.
your caseworker.
Caseworker. Talking
Get
to
him out
Grace.
yourselves.
Yeah, talking
Yeah,
to Grace.
I guess
it's your house.
I guess Finalina is
Sure.
the
She
Juno
kind of is Juno.
Yeah.
in a way. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then I guess the Lydia is the
Is Victor?
is the old woman.
Oh, the old woman. Sure. No, she's Otho.
She's also ruining everything.
Doing this, yeah.
We are not dead.
Okay, so we got to talk about the scene that all of the ad campaign led with this fucking scene.
Sure.
In her little communion dress.
She's in her little communion dress.
Oh my God.
That I mean,
Okay, before we got there. So, I'm very familiar with this movie. I have not watched it in a few years, right? And so we're watching it. And she's giving them their little homeschool lesson, right? Where she's like, teaching them from their books and all that stuff. They're teaching them this horrible story about these two little boys who voluntarily martyred themselves to the Roman emperor, Justus and Pastor. And Anne is just like, these idiots. Like, why did they just
I love that. It was so practical.
why are they so stupid? Like, just say you don't believe in Jesus.
Like,
God.
you would forsake Jesus?
Yes. And Grace is just like, never, not
She's
my
like, I don't want to
daughter."
die, Mom.
And Grace straight up is like, oh, well, then you're going to go to purgatory for the little kids and where you're just going to burn forever. And I'm sitting here going, Grace, you idiot. That's only for unbaptized children. Like, you should know that. And Anne pulls that card on her later on.
The lies that we tell our children.
Anne's like,
Yep.
you told me that we were going to go to purgatory, but that's only for unbaptized children, and we are baptized. And I was like, you tell her.
Yeah.
I was like, get her, Jade.
But the fact fact that they're living in purgatory.
Well, also
Regardless,
that,
that's
One of the
That's
many
the rub.
themes.
Also that, like, so this whole movie's point is that, like,
God, she's so religious.
Don't
What
bother
is it
being
when she's
Catholic.
punishing her and then she's like, and now you'll ask the Virgin for forgiveness.
yeah.
And she's like, yeah, we didn't discuss that. She's like, now you're taking it too far, Mom.
I'm not gonna go over to that damn statue. And
Oh, I know
ask
they've
it
got that
for-
beautiful
or a
glass.
painting. Yeah.
The stained glass.
Go ask the Virgin for forgiveness.
She's like, ask her for forgiveness. Do it. She's like, no. I played along with your shit.
Yeah. All the homeschooling shit, but it's all
It's all like
religion.
it's a Catholic education. It's not necessarily like they're learning, multivariable calculus or anything.
Yeah. But yeah, so she pulls these, or she tries to throw these threats at them. Well, Anne is a handful. So I guess at some point you just got to be like, I don't know, throw children's purgatory.
Yeah.
Children's limbo. Throw that at her. But yeah, that's just to say where you were going earlier. That point in the movie, I thought about it. I was like, wait, this is wrong. Like that's not what that is. What's going on here? And then she brought it up later.
Layered script, Pete.
Yeah, very good.
Okay.
So very, very religious.
So this scene
This
is kind of out of control. So is this the old lady attempting to have the seance and crossover? Is she
that's very Otho.
Is she being possessed?
They say
By
at
the old
end.
lady?
They say no, the old lady is being possessed by Anne
Okay.
in the real world,
Yeah.
in the living world. I don't think intentionally. I don't think Anne was like,
think
"I'm gonna
okay.
jump into your body."
Yeah.
But at the end,
It's
when they're
the old lady.
at the end when they're it's the old lady that's sitting down there. But at the end when they're talking about it and they're talking to
Because
Catelyn Stark,
this old lady is a medium that they brought in.
she
right?
says this woman has spoken to this girl and she was possessed by the little girl. She says it at the end. She says she was possessed by the little girl.
God, Anne really is a handful, huh?
Yeah. So I think that and I think that's the room that they're in when they're doing the seance.
Oh, I believe it is. Yeah.
So I think they were trying to do it at one point, or maybe it's the same day, because who knows how time works.
Yeah.
But I think they were trying to do this seance, and Anne was there, and just kind of
Jumped into
that
the
was
body.
the moment.
Orlando? Adam?
What'd you do to your hair?
Autumn sunrise. Do you like it?
Yeah, I think that Anne just kind of fell into her and possessed the old woman, and then to Grace, that's what she saw.
All right. Play the clip.
Where is my daughter? What have you done with my daughter?
Are you mad? I am your daughter.
No! You're not my daughter! No!
I mean, I guess they knew what they had. That they knew that they had to lead with that because we all knew that going into the movie.
Yeah.
That we
But
were
if
ready. We were ready to quote the scene.
But if we didn't know how gagged would we have been in the theater?
Oh, yeah. It would have been
Oh my
awesome.
god.
Oh, even so, I mean, but she fucks her up.
She
She fucks her
Did
up.
you notice-
Even if it isn't her daughter, she's like, I'm gonna fuck up this old woman.
This granny.
Did
Yeah.
you notice the bit of sound editing that they did when she's turning back into Anne?
I think it was just the dress ripping.
I think that it's like her morphing back into Anne.
You don't think you can hear too much in this clip, but when we watch it. How about the fact that the director wrote the score to this movie?
Yeah. It's a really
Oh,
beautiful
that
score.
is so neat. So, did you guys see the behind the scenes?
Watched a bit of it, yeah.
Yeah, because they said that
And
while
would
directing
play it.
yeah, he
Yeah.
would sit there and just like hum.
Yeah.
I was like, how neat.
Yeah.
Now that's
to get him
rad.
in the mood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like he knew exactly what that was.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a little type A, little you got to have your hands in everything, but I mean, cool.
I mean,
the score's good.
You know what's funny? And then he came out, and then there goes his artistic output. He was putting all of his like untapped sexual potential into movie making, and then he came out and was like,
And
never
then he
mind,
just
again. He's like, "Ah, I'll
Okay,
just
I'm
sit around and do that."
doing a Google search
Oh
of
my
him now.
gosh.
Look him up.
Kind of
listeners.
daddy.
This is,
It's working.
He's daddy.
Well, the thing is, he looks really good now because he was like 28 when he made this movie.
He kind of
he was
grew
a
into
baby.
it.
Fucking kid.
He grew into his features.
Yeah.
So what was Nick was like early 30s then?
She was probably like
in
30.
2001?
She was probably like 34.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, fascinating time of Nicole Kidman's career is 2001 when The Moulin Rouge and The Others comes out.
Right.
She divorces Tom Cruise, career skyrockets, and then wins the Oscar for The Hours the year after this.
Now, I'd read two things about production. One, that she didn't want to do it initially after having done Moulin Rouge.
Well, I think that just Moulin Rouge was just a bitch of a shoot. That it was long.
She's like, I'm tired. I ain't got nothing to give.
She had that knee. She had that knee injury.
Oh, yeah.
That, I mean, that's why she dropped out of Panic Room. Was just over
and then they're like,
medical reasons.
Your next role is you going to be on the edge for months, just like constantly anxious.
She's like reading her script of, okay, I'm playing a mother that murders her 2 children.
Yeah, she's and at the time she had 2 children
and is refusing to accept it. Yep.
Yeah, that whole story. We won't get into all that, but that is some fucked up shit. What happened with Tom and those kids.
And then
she adopted those kids. They were babies.
Yeah.
Babies put into her arms. And they're just like, fuck you, you're a suppressive person. No, it's not we can't talk to you anymore. It's we don't want to talk to you anymore. So fuck those 2, first of all. Lil Connor and whatever the hell her name is. Get the hell out of here.
Isabel,
yeah. That shit is wild.
You always hear stories that, I mean, I think Tom leaving her kind of took her completely by surprise. That I don't think she really saw coming.
Those pictures of her walking out of the lawyer's office don't look that way. But she looks pretty happy.
Yeah.
But I think that it was kind of a shock.
Yeah. We'll be posting those pictures of her walking out of the lawyer's office.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
I mean,
great.
the fact that
Those
their
are
marriage
great.
survived Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
And then went on for another 2 years.
Well, I mean, I think that was probably when the Scientologists really saw that we need to get back Tom. That he's been in England filming this movie for 2 years, and we need to take more tabs on him.
That makes sense because, I was thinking about like his output, and during that time, like he was just a different person. Like he was pretty flippant. He was kind of a dick. Like, I mean, leading up to like the Oprah couch jumping thing.
Yep.
Like he was taking all these risks and
bringing Scientologists to the set of War of the Worlds. Yeah.
But he's played it so fucking safe since that time.
Right.
Safe.
What was the whole Brooke Shields thing and Matt. You're being glib.
Being glib.
Yeah, that shit was wild.
But that man is gone.
Yeah, that Tom is out. Now the Tom that we see is the
it's older statesman. It's like
I'm 60, but I'm still going to do push-ups every day on set.
Yeah.
And I'm going to shame my male co-stars into doing them with me because
I think part of it
I'm
is
60. You guys.
Also, I mean, tabloid culture of that time. Like they were just like catnip. They were like this was right before we had like our Bennifer. Mm-hmm. They were kind of the it couple,
right,
of the moment.
And she's taller than him.
And the fact that I think that Eyes Wide Shut of it's important because like they were like the fact that like Hollywood is always selling sex, and they're like we're gonna put 2 of the most famous sexy people in a movie about sex, which wasn't very sexy.
And it's going to be weird.
And it's going to subvert all that you think you know about them. I remember one of the things about that movie was they were talking about like there were all these rumors that they had filmed sex, that they had sex scenes that didn't make it into the final cut. And both of them had to say like, no, in fact, like what you see is the extent of what we did.
I'm so sure.
Yeah, I'm so sure, right? They were subversive people, but not that subversive.
Yeah. So what's the deal with Tom Cruise marrying these women and then divorcing them when they turn 33?
Yeah.
Isn't that a thing?
That's a thing.
And then like
happened. I mean, Mimi Rogers it's its own thing.
Right. But okay, he's
Mom.
never stayed married to any woman older than 33, and all his ex-wives are 11 years younger than the previous one. But that cycle just ended because
There's
you can't be 11 years younger than Nicole Kidman anymore.
no, you can't be 11 years younger than Katie
than
Holmes.
Katie Holmes anymore. Yeah. Right. That ship has sailed because the math won't work out to her being 33 when they get divorced. Mm-hmm. Right. But that's just a weird little.
So he'll be alone
It's a weird
forever.
little factoid that came out.
Yeah, but it's also just men in Hollywood. Like, isn't 25 the limit for Leo?
I mean, it has been for quite a few years now. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Tom Cruise makes a very specific type of movie nowadays.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there was a time in Hollywood where Tom never did sequels.
oh, is that a thing?
I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
when he
think
first-
that he.
when
I don't
Mission
think
Impossible
that
2
he
was
did
like
a
a big,
sequel
they're
until
like,
MI2. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a big thing where they were like, I mean, this was back when like TV was like, still like the movie stars wouldn't do TV.
Right.
The fact that they were like, oh, he's doing a sequel is so beneath him. What a cash grab.
Yeah, but I feel like Maverick was good.
I mean, he's dependable. He is a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, but that's kind of where I am.
I
with
mean,
very
the new
different.
Mission
I'm like,
Impossible kind of underwhelmed too,
Yeah.
and it was just released. I mean, it just came out this week that the new Mission Impossible movie was pushed back an entire year too.
the latest one that they have yet to make.
But then talk about, Nick's trajectory. The fact that, and the second thing about this is that apparently she quit during production and like came back
Of what?
of the others.
Of the others, really?
Yeah. Apparently, like it was as they were divorcing, and she just like on top of everything, she's like, I just can't do it because this is noted as being the last time that they like worked together, or even had to interact with one another.
I mean, Tom did red carpet stuff for this movie, so he did he finished his end of the bargain with all of it too.
gosh, that must have been
What a guy.
Very
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that to this day it's still bizarre when they're in like rooms together for like award shows and stuff.
Are they ever in a room together for an award show? Isn't it either Tom or Nicole has the custody of like
the room,
the Oscars or the Oscars or the Globes?
I don't know. I think maybe it's just they're both so prevalent in the culture. Now, the thing I love about Nicole, and I think this is why she's an enduring figure to us, is her work ethic.
Oh yeah.
What hasn't she done? That woman, I mean, and that's the thing, like, we'll go 5 years without seeing Tom in a movie.
Yeah.
But Nicole is like, oh, that's her 8th movie this year? I mean, her output is, we were joking before this about her wigs, and we were debating whether or not because she's known, listener. I look really good, so I wish they could view me.
Full glam. Full glam.
I was misled. But no, the fact that she loves a good wig and that she's always just playing like just batshit characters. The fact that she won an Oscar for a nose, and then she's since done that. Did you all see Destroyer? Like no one did.
I love Destroyer.
But then it was
I didn't see it.
You did, thank God. Someone did. But that's another like prosthetics kind of thing where like that's definitely not.
I mean, I hate to use the word fearless because it's such a stupid
guess.
word to
It usually just
describe
means like
brave
she's not wearing
actors.
makeup. Yeah,
Like
she's so
she's
brave.
brave.
She's
But
so brave.
I mean,
you can see her pores.
She is very fearless of just how she tackles material. This movie got her. She got 2 Golden Globe nominations in 2001, one for drama, one for comedy. She won for comedy.
Bad.
And I would imagine that I could easily see a path where The Others ends up getting the Oscar nomination.
I was surprised. I thought The Others was going to get the Oscar nomination.
But
Well, got a BAFTA.
Over
Moulin Rouge, it got a BAFTA,
Yeah.
but Moulin Rouge was very late breaking.
Yeah.
That I think that movie really kicked into high gear around the time voting happened in January.
See, and I love those years where someone is just doing such good work that you think like, God, what are we supposed to nominate them for?
Yeah.
And she's so good as Satine in Moulin Rouge too. So
Saltine.
it's like I mean, we got the Oscar nomination for Moulin Rouge. So it's like,
Yeah.
that's cool.
And then the reason she won for the hours is, I mean, by a nose. But no, it's because that year she didn't. And they were like, God, they were like, 2001 was really next year.
It was
like,
the makeup. It was the makeup.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another
for
brave
her.
performance.
Yeah, but the fact that we just got, and then she just kept going on and on and on. She got more and more experimental. And was this when we got Dogville?
Dogville was
God,
04.
Dogville.
Yeah, Dogville.
She had
was
to
after
put up with
this.
all. She had to put up with all that bullshit with Lars von Trier.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
That
then
one's
God,
crazy.
and then we got Birth. Remember that?
Birth.
Scott loves
She
Birth.
got in that bathtub with that little boy in Birth.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, she was doing some real. I mean, and that's the fun thing is that like Tom would have never done that shit
Right.
because he's an actor. He's a movie star. She's an actress.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
a movie star.
She is a movie star, but like he is a like registered trademark movie star.
Yeah.
This woman knows how to act.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's an dare I say an artist.
An
artiste.
She really knows her craft.
Yeah.
She refers to it as her craft.
And that's something I find so fun about this movie and all the references that it makes back to Rebecca and to the innocence is that she knows exactly the sandbox she's playing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
She knows that like that character, she knows that archetype, and it's getting subverted because this isn't the person who's being haunted. This is the person who doesn't know that they're the person doing the haunting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is so
And
fun.
what a fun role to play too.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, just a little bit back to the movie. And again, I've said this several times. Been a couple years since I watched it. Not 20 or 22 or whatever. I feel like we got this Blu-ray and we watched it, and every now and then we'll put it in. It's been a few years. When we get to the last big reveal showcase showdown
Where they're in the room and they're having the seance.
where they're having the seance.
and she's fucking up with the papers too.
First the kids hide in the closet.
Yeah, that's
and
like
then-
the breakthrough moment. That's so
Okay,
scary.
I remember that scene
Yeah.
sitting in the theater, being like,
That was jump scare.
holy
the wardrobe, an old English style wardrobe that's
Yeah.
a piece of furniture in the room, and they get in it. The wardrobe doors fly open, and it's the old woman, and you're just like, ah!
Oh,
And
that was so fun because I
Yeah.
remember. I mean, in the picture that she draws in the earlier on, you think
Oh
it's like
my
a
God.
Medusa,
yeah,
kind
like
of
old
character.
witch, yeah.
So you're like, you just can't believe. Like the thing about
Yeah.
the family and Victor, you're like, okay, maybe I can buy that, but whatever
Yeah.
she's getting into with this is bullshit. And
Yeah.
then you see her,
Yeah.
and oh God, the terror of that moment. You're like, no, oh my God, she
Yeah.
was telling the truth.
It's a legit jump scare that they did not spoil in the marketing, which is good. So then she starts doing that thing, and it's like a thing that some mediums do. I think she does it in Insidious. Lin Shaye does it,
Writing-
where they're
drawing
saying
stuff.
They're saying
Ha,
things
blah, blah, blah,
out
blah, blah,
loud,
blah.
but they're writing
They're
it
writing it,
down,
yeah.
and then what they're writing is
She's
like,
a conduit.
right. And she says something about the pillow and what about the pillow and blah, blah. And then you cut because Grace is just running around,
Yeah.
freaking out, throwing the shotgun all over the place. And when we cut back into the room, Anne is standing next to the woman, and she's whispering in her ear. And you're like, no! And the woman is just like, okay, the pillow. What did she do with the pillow? And she whispers in her ear. And the woman goes, is that how she killed you? And Anne is like, what? Anne kind of has a moment where she's just like, wait, what? What did you just say?
what?
Anne and Nicholas knew that Mummy went mad, but I don't know, maybe to them they don't think that they're dead either.
Yeah. None of them know the consequences of what happened. Yeah.
But they didn't know.
They knew their mom was acting crazy.
Yeah. And so when she says, is that how she killed you? Anne is just, she's startled. And she takes a step back. And I was like, oh, fuck. I forgot about that. And I was like, oh, shit. So, and all of this stuff, I was just like,
fun.
wow, this scene is so good. And she just starts picking up the table and shaking the table. And the way it's cut together, oh my God. It's
This
you guys.
house has to be, they are noisy poltergeists. They're closing doors left and right.
Ripping down curtains.
Keys, ripping, sliding curtains.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, Grace and them are doing a number on these poor people that are trying to live there. Yeah.
They're dealing with a lot. And that's what's kind of interesting about the story is that's a whole movie that is off camera.
Right.
Too.
What else
that we haven't seen.
That would be that's the movie that you would think that you're watching.
That you think that you're watching.
Yeah.
Which is very clever writing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's an expanded universe here. There's a prequel that takes place during the tuberculosis times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's a sequel that definitely is like focusing on Catelyn Stark and her family. And
I mean, that's the thing. You know, we often joke about the limited series. You know, the limited series version of something.
The 6-episode Netflix series.
But I kind of like that
others.
we never got it.
Yeah.
I kind of like that we never got the sequel from Victor's point of view and like all that. It's like, it's good that this movie. That's the point of this movie.
Yeah.
Is that
it's
there
insular.
are things that are untold and things that we don't know. And how crazy that we're watching the wrong movie. Like we thought we were watching this.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's fun when you think that so much of, I mean, that's what the ghost trope is about like reckoning with the past. But this movie actually inserts the future too.
Yeah.
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 In a way that you're like, oh, like there are, I think about it from the standpoint of like, you know, they say like depression is people who focus too much on the past and anxiety is people who focus too much on the future.
Yeah.
And God, if Nicole Kidman isn't anxious, you know, in every scene in this movie, but it's the purgatory of it, which is what we're all living in at any given time, is not knowing like what we're looking in our rearview mirror at the ghosts that quote unquote haunt us.
Right.
We're looking forward towards the ghosts that like we've yet to encounter. And that's like what causes this anxiety for us. It makes us feel like, oh my God, what is it? What's in store for us? When is our husband just gonna appear from the fog?
Yeah.
I'm always looking for my non-existent husband in the fog. Every morning I wake up and I just go, Christopher, will you be coming back from war?
Oh my God.
And Mrs. Mills is there to just kind of be like, you just got to go with it.
Yeah, which is fun.
Yeah, like you,
Just
like
kind of fun. She was like all in time, and she says that she's like all in time. All in time.
You're dead. You just gotta enjoy it.
And yeah,
Just, embrace the.
You just gotta
enjoy
embrace
the ride.
You just gotta embrace the process now.
She's very much about like mindfulness.
Right.
You know, she's like, let's be in the present.
Yeah.
Let's just be in the present. Like we don't have to worry about like we don't have to speed this up, because I mean, she's like, look, you're gonna be here for a while.
Yeah.
So we don't need to make this anymore.
Well, that's the other thing that I like about or that I appreciate about this is that there aren't a lot of rules spelled out. So we do have to kind of make assumptions about things.
Yeah.
We don't know what the rules are. And again, if this were made today and if it was like a 6-episode miniseries on FX or whatever, it's like sometimes there's whole episodes that are just devoted to mythology and all this stuff. I'm just like, oh my God, did this need to be an entire episode?
Yeah, because we don't know. We don't know. Like, are they all going to cohabitate?
Right. Yeah. Do we all?
Because I don't think they didn't seem like
because
they were
according to Grace at the end of this movie,
this house is ours.
This house is
didn't seem
theirs.
like she was open to that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in a way that like where where Finalala and her people, they're like, no, like we're gonna come back and we're gonna be the benevolent ghost. We're gonna be the Casper.
Right.
We're gonna be the friends that hang out with you and help you through this process. Where she's like, oh no, we're gonna be the ones that haunt your ass. So no, come here. Yeah, come.
And Mrs. Mills is just like, yeah, okay, so me and Lydia and Mr. Total, he can come out of the shed now, right?
Right.
And she's like, no, you go back to the shed.
Go back to the shed.
Yeah, we don't need
You're
you.
fine. You're fine in the shed.
This is our house. And isn't that just classism? Isn't that just like the aristocracy of it all? Yeah. She's like, sorry, like, yeah, she's like, it's nice that you got to be the help in this life too. She's like, but as the owners of this house, we're going to stay here in the main house.
We will be taking up every bedroom.
She's like, and I'm good. You know what? I think I'm going to put the curtains back up. I'm going to put them, because I just got used to not having them.
Yeah.
So let's talk about light really quick.
Yeah.
Because I think this is a good gay metaphor, right? Is hiding in the shadows and bringing things like the light is dangerous. This is a funny thing about
we all have our closets that we were once living in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the thing where she's like, where it's like we're all like hiding in the darkness, and then when you're being haunted by something like these people are, dragging it into the light can literally kill them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Until they accept it for themselves.
And isn't there a line with Mrs. Mills of, well, how do you know that your kids like react this way to the light?
Oh yeah, she's like maybe. Oh, she says something. Yeah, it's one of those like really foreboding things where she's like they used to, or she's like she says something about like ever since it happened, or you don't know if that's still the case after.
Yeah.
And it's again, as an audience member, you're like, after what? Like after you know, and just telling us it happened. You're like, what happened? What is the moment?
What was the reason?
What was the reason? I know you see the dead people, but when?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I never thought about that, about just sort of a trapped in the closet metaphor of this movie.
I think haunted houses as metaphors serve the purpose, as like ghosts do in narratives too, is that like we're living in our own haunted house. Like our head is our own haunted house. And if we have ghosts, things that we're not accepting, those things are haunting us.
The calls are coming from inside the house.
The calls are coming from inside the house.
Yeah. and here we are picking up the phone. Here we are picking up the phone because we like to gab. But there's like, and the scary thing about this movie, I think, to your point, Scott, about her saying like, we're not going anywhere, is that it's almost like, it's like you've come out of the closet and then you're going to be the villain.
Right.
You know, it's like there's this in the narrative of like coming out, it's like all this, like you're tortured and then you come out and now you get to live your life as your authentic self. And this crazy bitch is like, actually, she's like, no. Now I get to be my authentic self, which is I'm going to haunt the next people. I'm going to inflict pain. As someone who's experienced pain like my entire life, now I'm going to inflict on other people. I'm going to be the mean gay.
I'll give you ghosts.
She's going to be the mean gay. Yeah. She's going to be that muscle gay, that circuit gay. Yeah, who's just shitting on everyone. Who's like, you're fat.
Oh, is that picture old?
And like I took it last week. They're like, wow, busy week.
Busy week.
Busy week. Wow.
Oh my God. Yeah. I like it. I like all of these suppositions and stories that we've made up.
Yeah, not knowing the director was gay and then finding out
I didn't know that until
we press record. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it puts it in a whole new perspective for me because it's like,
well,
you know.
I was also reading a quote from this director. Hold, please. Let me find it here. Okay, so Enabart said on directing the others, my childhood was beset by fears of the dark, fears of half-open doors, fears of closets, and generally speaking, fear of anything that could conceal someone or something. Tommy, can you hear me? And with your like assessment right there, that makes total sense that a closeted gay guy would direct a movie like the others.
What is it about what is it about the gender thing, you think? What is it about the fact that so many of these movies, these haunted house movies and stuff, center on women?
Because you can't
do that type of an arc with a man.
Yeah, you're not going to have a male protagonist be afraid of ghosts. You know what I mean? I feel like it's just like, it's not like masculine or it's not like macho to be like,
okay,
oh, I'm like scared of.
Because I think so.
Ghosts.
I don't know how much of your audience is cis het,
right?
You know, men. But for the two of you that are listening,
I
think the universality of just the human experience is that we all have things that we're afraid of in our past. We all have moments that we all have versions of ourselves that we're trying to be better than. That we all have things that could potentially haunt us in our rearview mirror, and it's much more. And the metaphor of being in the closet and then coming out is something that's like a very, like graduating high school, like kind of step that all queer people go through,
right?
And straight men don't live with it in such bookended terms.
Right.
But the human experience is that we've all got shit behind us. And we're all looking forward and hoping that like the things that make us anxious aren't going to be ghosts that eventually haunt us. That these will be that they'll be Caspers. that they'll be Slimers.
They'll be good.
I mean,
spirits.
you want your ghost to be a beautiful movie star too. You want the ghost to be
Oh, fuck
somebody
yeah.
like.
Patrick Swayze.
I was thinking more like you want the Grace Kelly, you want the Judy ghost, you want Nicole Kidman, you want your leading lady too. So it makes total sense why this character has to be a woman and played by Nicole Kidman.
Okay, fair. Now I see the
Yep.
gender thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
just
because there's also a sense of the
You identify more as a gay man with the leading lady.
yeah.
But why though? What was the reason?
And the like I don't know. I think there's sort of a there's probably like some Freudian mother thing too about the fact that like there's a if it's a benevolent figure that it's sort of like it's got that mothering, nurturing, I'm here to protect you kind of vibe as opposed to what we usually associate with the masculine and with the father of like
Right.
Someone who's on some ghost who's like, get your shit
More
together.
Oppressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about this when we do slasher movies or more conventional horror movies. The whole like, why do gay men love a final girl? We don't have the answer to that. We're never gonna have the answer to that. It's a thing.
I mean, dare we say the otherness of being gay? The others.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
being othered.
If you're going to be really that like on the nose with it.
Yeah. But I mean, no, but this is a real, like, this is something that there are, there's tons of research about it. There's tons of, people write
dissertations.
People much
on
smarter than
classes.
us write books on this and teach classes on it. Yeah.
Absolutely. This is what I'm trying to say. Like I said, the whole queer fascination with the final girl and slashers and all of that. This is a question that our little tacky little show is not going to answer.
When I would argue in the Brene Brown of the world, where vulnerability is a strength, and the least toxic men I know are the ones who tap into essentially their humanity, their vulnerability, the fact that like they are infallible people.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is why I love Poltergeist and why I want to do Poltergeist on the show is because the male lead coach, Craig T. Nelson, Stephen Freeling, he's a father, he's Craig T. Nelson.
He's a
like,
provider.
He's like 6'5".
Yeah.
He's a huge dude, right? And his family is being threatened. His daughter has been stolen by these spirits. And his best shit in that movie is when he's like, tells his wife, Diane, to go in, cross over to the neither world, and go get our baby back.
Yeah.
And he lets Jo Beth Williams, all 5'4" of her, go in and do it. Because he knows that
She's the mother.
she's the mother.
Yep.
She's the one that our 4-year-old daughter will go to.
And how sexy is it when they come back and he's like, and he's holding them, and it's like,
And he picks her up all slimy and puts her in the bathtub. Get the fuck out of town. Yeah, and I think that's what you're saying. Like that, this is a big guy, a masculine guy, the father figure, and he defers to his wife. For a lot of this story.
Yeah, which she needs,
to save our family.
Yeah, what our daughter needs now, what our family needs now is you. So it's kind of within the like totality of the human experience, knowing that regardless of whether you're masculine or feminine, that like you have that part of you, and sometimes you have to tap into it. Mm-hmm. It means that if I had a ghost, I would want it to be a beautiful white blonde woman, potentially in a wig.
Sure.
Or a very good-looking 50-something Spanish director. No, really, he's got the picture up now, y'all, on his computer, and y'all need to check it out. Like, if you see what this man looked like, if you see what good old Ale was looking like back when he directed this movie and was covering his teeth with his top lip, compared to now, damn,
Glow up, baby.
I'm just gonna say Alejandro.
Yes.
Okay, he came out as gay in 2004, and then 2015 married his husband David Blanco, and then they divorced in 2019. So he's on the market.
Okay, so I'm
Andy.
hearing he's soltero. So Alejandro,
he's on the market.
Escuchando ahorita. Llámame, okay? My handle is the Andy on Insta.
we'll
Come
have
find me.
his people.
Slide into my DMs, Alejandro, porque we could make another movie. I will be your Nicole.
You know, when he casts Open Your Eyes, that actor was like his whole gig was like the Spanish Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Like he got
he got
Yeah.
right up in the press that
Yeah.
he was the Spanish Tom Cruise. Have you ever seen Open Your Eyes?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's good.
Vanilla Sky sucks.
Vanilla Sky.
Vanilla Sky. I a few months ago I did my Vanilla Sky revisit because I feel like my thoughts of that movie change whenever I watch it. Has
it gotten any better?
I mean, I think that movie just lives in its
aged?
own just cuckoo bananas, not Earth. That is a Cameron Crowe movie. All of the best parts of that movie are lifted from Open Your Eyes.
Like shot for shot
Dialogue, stuff
Yeah.
that was lifted straight from that movie.
Yeah, all this stuff. What did Cameron
Wasn't
Crowe
that right
bring to it?
after
Just-
Magnolia too? Like, wasn't Tom
Yeah,
just
it was
in a
01.
weird headspace?
Yeah, isn't all of Cameron Crowe's
Same.
stuff just Tom running through empty New York City?
I mean, Tom running is a theme in all of his movies.
Through empty New York City.
But
though.
in that movie, it is empty New York City. Yeah.
Now that is someone I would not want to be my ghost.
Tom Cruise.
I was going to
running
say, I
straight
would
towards
much
you.
rather be in a house haunted by Nicole Kidman than Tom Cruise.
Even if she were anxious to the nth degree
Yeah.
like that, just like constantly behind me, like, did you
I
shut
will-
the door?
I will take Grace over Frank Mackey from Magnolia
Oh Jesus!
any day.
Frank T.J. Mackey.
Yeah.
Frank T.J. Mackey.
By all means,
yeah.
Nikki, come and smother me with a pillow.
You know, I don't mind that she's in these like housefrau like.
Oh, I love them.
costumes.
I love her robe that she puts on.
The robe is great.
The,
robe
robe
is-
is,
the robe is
so
fierce.
great. Well, let's talk about some of the like those production things, right? Because it's so the
do you know
costumes.
do you know what we noticed when Nick was holding the shotgun?
Oh, yeah.
Nicole's
I
left-handed.
think she's left-handed.
Yeah.
Well, she has a watch on her right wrist for most of the movie.
okay.
Which to me, I was like, what kind of crazy monster wears a watch on the right wrist?
Somebody
lefty.
who's left-handed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Scott was like, oh, well, we'll see when she holds a shotgun. And like she's holding it, and I was like, well, how would I
it's
hold
ironic
it?
that
I've never
she's-
held one.
You're gonna want to hold the main part of the rifle
The
with
dick
your
part?
with
Yeah.
your
You
dominant
hold
hand.
the dick part with your
Yeah.
with your dominant hand. So then she was
Well, maybe that's why
So
she's
she's
got
holding it
the. I
lefty.
mean, considering that like time makes no sense in this movie,
Right.
it makes sense that she's a monster who's got her. Sorry to our left-handed listeners, but she's a monster who's wearing a watch on her right hand because she's not checking it.
Well, and also in
clearly
one
not checking
scene, it popped off like it was on her for most of it. It's when she and Mrs.
Oh, like a
Mills
continuity thing?
are at the fire.
Or they're at
Oh, you're
the
really
fireplace.
paying attention to that watch.
Well, that was the thing.
That was when we
That was
noticed
when
it.
I noticed it. I was like,
Oh.
"Oh, look, she's wearing a watch on her right hand." And I was like, "Look, Scott, look," because he was like looking away. And when he looked back, it cut back to her and it was gone. And I was like, "It's gone!"
Oh my god!
Gaff Squad.
Now that's a haunted house movie for you. Yeah.
the ghost
was
of her-
deliberate.
the ghost of her watch.
So some other things I appreciated, like this is a beautiful home. Is it it's a set, right? Or is this like
I don't
Has
know.
to be. I can't imagine
some of
finding
the
some
shots?
mansion
Like there's the shots I love in this movie are
where it spins around the room.
yes.
Oh, so cool.
And then, so the fella who I cannot remember off the top of my head, but the guy who's the
DP.
he did something else relatively recently that was like so neat.
I noticed that he shot talk to her.
Yeah, he's got a fun career. But yeah, production design on this is great. There's nothing that's
the production design is
anachronistic.
So cool.
It's probably a mixture of a real location and sets, probably.
Yeah, because
It
that's
probably just
fun.
depends on
The
what room of
framing.
the house you're in.
I love the moments where like she's hearing something upstairs and it's shot from above.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's making her look so small, and in those moments, so anxious. Something fun about space and light in this movie is that when she's in a room that is entirely well lit,
I was gonna say those are the most unsettling scenes of the movie. Is where you
Because she's,
see,
like, alone.
Is where you
Yeah.
see the most light.
Yeah.
too. It's when she's the most uncomfortable is when she's out in the daylight.
Yeah.
When she stepped out of that closet.
Yeah. No, when she goes out in the fog and stuff, she's literally like, I mean, she's going out in the cold, whatever, but she's literally like, holding herself.
When she
like,
steps out in the
steeling
fog,
herself.
when she goes into the room and she's uncovering all of the sheets.
Oh,
too.
how fun is that? Like that
painting?
scene I'd forgotten was, or no, just her going into a room. It's like, it's a haunted house movie.
Yeah.
And she's going into a room and everything is covered in white sheets.
Yeah.
Everything is potentially
I'm
a
like,
ghost hiding.
Why
Like,
do you
that
have,
is
why do
so
you have
on
a
the nose.
life-size statue of the Virgin Mary?
But so I know. Well, wouldn't she? This crazy ass? Like
I'm
she's
like,
probably
that's
like,
how I know the director's Spanish.
she probably like wheeled it in, like she wheels it into their bedroom every morning, and she's like, "Say hello to the Virgin." And she's like, "Mom, we're not doing this. We already talked about this. Put it back. Put it back."
I mean,
Put
she
it
got
back
it
in
in
the
those
junk
little.
room.
She got it in those little Catholic markets where you can get a big Jesus and Mary statue.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
but
like
look
in
up
Mexico.
our DP.
The
Look up our
version of the
DP.
Guadalupe.
So this director of photography, Goya's Ghosts, Vicky Cristina Barcelona,
Vicky Cristina. That's a fun one.
The Road, interesting.
Goya's
Road.
Ghost.
He did 2 Twilight movies. He did New Moon and Eclipse. Interesting. The Fright Night remake, Warm Bodies, Blue Jasmine.
He did the Poltergeist remake.
He has a really
So
interesting
he
career.
has-
Thor Ragnarok. Yeah.
Yes,
what the
that's
heck?
the one where I was
Yeah.
like, "Holy shit!" Because
he has-
imagine if
You want to talk about light?
Alejandro had started on that or stayed on that
mean,
path.
yeah.
Again, Alejandro, si estás escuchando a ese,
Escúcheme.
escúcheme, oye. Activo, pasivo, whatever.
Oh
Just hit
my
me up. We'll figure it
God.
out. Tenemos un amor. Watch, he's gonna find me. He's gonna find me. He's gonna be
will.
like,
You never
I heard
know."
these other faggots. They.
How you say?
how do you say in English? How do you
Como
say?
se dice?
Yeah. Como se dice un podcast?
God. I have to tell you, when we do our social media posts for these episodes, we use the posters from the movies.
Ooh.
And then we usually use the original poster. And the IMDb is usually pretty good about posting like the main original
What they marketed it with.
poster, what they market it with.
It's the black one, right? With her, like it's black, and she's holding a candle, and she's looking.
Not anymore. Now I don't know what the hell's going on
Oh.
with this.
Listeners, I'm being shown a. Oh,
It's cute. I like it.
Once in a while, Pete, a fan-made poster does make it to IMDb.
Well, you know
too.
what? This reminds me. Almost reminds me of the opening.
Yeah.
Yeah, the opening when she's telling the kids the story and we're
Oh.
seeing the storybook.
That is a hold on, that is a reference. Here, let me. It's in my notes.
Oh, because there's like the woman in the background. This is a scary ass poster. I love it though. But this almost does look fan made.
Okay, Andy. The movie opens with Nicole Kidman in voiceover reading a story. She begins the words with, now children, are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. That comes from a BBC radio program, Listen with Mother, broadcast in the UK between 1950 and 1982, that always began with,
Wow.
are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. So it was a little, it was kind of like a, if you know, you know.
Okay.
If you're old.
That's a little spooky. I like it though. Cute.
If you're old.
I thought it was a
So,
cute
yeah.
introduction, especially considering this
you're
movie
old.
spends so much time with children.
Yeah.
Is that it was
It's
because
like-
children are just inherently
It's
creepy.
like you're, well, and also you're listening to this ghost
And
story.
ornery.
You're listening to this
yeah.
like this creepy bedtime story.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's a fun one. See, gosh, this movie really does.
Layers.
Yeah, it gives you so much to
Yeah.
work with.
No, but I think we probably should wrap it up because we're this is
What a
Going
what
along.
a fun
But I love this
Halloween
movie.
movie, Andy.
Yeah,
This was a fun one to talk about. I'm glad that we did it.
yeah, this was a great.
I'm telling you, if you ever have questions, maybe this isn't the right movie for the show. It's the right movie.
And
for
it's
the
funny
show.
that sometimes, Andy, I'll pick these movies just thinking like, well, I just really want to talk about the others. Like, I think that we'll figure this shit out. And then as we're discussing it, I'm like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah, there's always
this was
something
actually
there.
kind of perfect.
There's a reason why it resonates.
Guess
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
There's a reason why.
I already been new.
And as I said to the one or two heterosexual men that are listening, like there's something here for you too, fellas. There's something here for you too. It's not just for the gals and the gays and the days.
I mean, hey, I think we have a new log line for our show. But this was a lot of fun.
Andy, this
Thank
has
you
been
for
so much
coming
fun.
on.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to. So let's see. I've done this with you folks. I've done Scream 2.
Adam's Family Values.
Yeah. So
you got some good ones.
Yeah.
You always pull me in for the real creepy ones. So I look forward to. Yeah, I look forward to what's next.
Yeah, we'll do a light comedy next time.
Yeah, something nice and romantic.
Yeah. No, I like.
We'll
I
do
like the spooky
Bewitched.
movies. Ooh, we'll stick with Nicole.
Oh, the Nicole Kidman
Why not?
Bewitched.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I guess that settles it.
Nicole does not want us to do that.
Oh, Nicole Kidman. I mean,
Nick, if you're listening,
patron saint of movies that made us gay.
Absolutely.
She's our favorite.
Yeah. Can't clock a lace front.
Can't clock a lace front.
well, in a couple of
Yeah.
that's not her fault. That's productions.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Andy, we'll send you on your way.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll figure out what we're gonna do next, but until then, we'll see you soon.
And like a ghost, I'll be gone.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody.
It was a fun month, Pete.
Absolutely. I can't believe we are all through with Spooky October.
We talked about fun movies. We had a great celebrity interview with Lisa Wilcox.
Absolutely.
Listeners, if you have not listened to our interview with Lisa Wilcox, we did it as a bonus episode. It was a really fun conversation.
Yeah, it's on the main feed, so go check out, where you listen to the show.
We're huge Dream Master fans, so it was that was a fun little chat.
Absolutely. It was such a pleasure to talk to Lisa Wilcox. I mean, little 12-year-old me, if you'd have told me I'd be having a Zoom call
with Alice
Johnson
from the Dream Master,
asking her questions, like, oh, what a joy. I love it.
Pete, I think that we have some Patreon shout-outs.
Patreon shout-outs!
Let's hear them.
All right, let's say hello to all of our wonderful active patrons, including patron Tammy and Roberto, Brett, Tren, Daisy, Kelly, Chrissy, Steven, Jake, Desiree, Laura, Thomas, Lori, Brenna, Jessa Rabbit, Lawrence, Lisa, Alexis, Thomas, Millie, Ted, Benny, Jamel, Melanie, Susan, JJ, Amy, Shelby, Jamie, Drew, Genevieve, Dawn, Joshua, Emma Millie, Aaron, Nick, Christine, Nick and Shannon, Christine, and also Rufino. You guys, thank you so much for being patrons.
We have a lot of things happening on our Patreon these days.
Yes.
If you are a $5 and above level, you will get our television that made us gay.
Yes.
We just did a My So-Called Life episode. We also
it was
did
the spooky Halloween episode.
The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
Yes. We'll be doing lots more moving forward. Television shows that really made an impact on us. If you have any suggestions for TV shows that you'd like us to cover on the Patreon, hit us up. You can send us an email or write to us directly on Patreon. But listeners, if you're not patrons, go to patreon.com/moviesthatmadeusgay to check out all of the bonus content that is on there. Over 30 Watch With Us commentary tracks where we watch a movie. We give you instructions on how to sync up the audio track that you're listening to on your laptop or your iPad or your phone. You can sync it up with the movie that you're playing on your TV. If you have the DVD, the Blu-ray, or if you're streaming it. Give you instructions on how to sync up the two tracks so that our commentary aligns with what you're watching in the movie. It's super fun when you do it, you guys. It's really cute. And if you don't want to go through all that rigmarole, it's not that hard. You can just listen to the tracks as a bonus episode, just like you would a normal episode, and they're still fun that way too.
Yeah.
There's over 30 of those over on Patreon.
We'll have one for the month of October coming very shortly.
Yes.
Around this episode, or around when this episode comes out.
Absolutely. So check that out. We'd also love it if you would rate and review the show.
Give us 5 stars.
Yeah, if you're
we would
on
love that.
Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can give us a 5-star rating. Please smash that 5th star all the way to the right. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, you can write us a review. If you have an iPhone, Apple Podcast is there. It's
really easy.
pre-installed. Open it up. Search Movies That Made Us Gay. Write a review. I love this show. It's great. Signed, listener. And we'll read it on an upcoming episode. It's easy, it's free, and it helps us so much. You guys, anytime you give us a 5-star rating, anytime you leave us a review, anytime you repost, like, share, write a comment on any of our Instagram posts, all that stuff really helps the show. kind of get spread out there to new listeners. Speaking of which, check out our Instagram.
Yeah, we've had some posts that have been popping off.
Yeah, absolutely.
That Sherry O'Terry video is still getting the likes.
Sherry O'Terry and Molly Shannon.
It was liked by Donna Murphy.
It was liked by Donna Murphy, Mother Gothel herself. It was liked by Bowen Yang gave us a like. We've got Kristen Chenoweth liked.
Yeah. That's kind of funny to be. I'll be working up product at TJ, and then I'll see a notification on my phone. Oh, Kristen Chenoweth just liked our Sherry O'Terry leg up video with Molly Shannon.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're on Instagram, we're at Movies That Made Us Gay. Like, repost, share, comment, all that stuff. It really, really helps. We're closing in on 3,000 followers on Instagram. You guys, I'd like to hit that 3,000 and beyond. So keep liking the show, keep telling your friends, keep reposting, all that fun stuff. And, we're on...
we're on all of them.
We're on X, we're on Threads, we're
Blue
on
Sky, Threads.
We're on Threads. We're at Movies. We're at MTMUG Pod.
Most active on Instagram.
But we are most
That's where the
active
party.
on Instagram.
That's where the real party
That's
is.
where the real party is. Absolutely. We get some fun memes, and most of our memes are farmed. We're made in house by us. So if you think they're funny, hey, we wrote them. Anything with a watermark, we did it. So follow us there and do all that good stuff. And if you want to follow our personals, feel free. I am Pete. Once again, I'm at Peter Lasagna on Instagram. So give me a follow.
Scott Youngballer on Instagram, and follow my letterbox.
Yes, Scott's letterbox is Scott's letterbox, but I'm pretty much watching the movies with him. So anything he sees, I pretty much watched it. So I don't have a letterbox. He writes the good reviews on there. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week. It's almost November.
Going to November and December.
It's almost my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.